There we go. Sorry, I'm just checking my clip here.
The founders are rolling over in their graves. They predicted all of this. The corruption, the government overreach, the willingness of the American people to go along as the proverbial frogs in the government stew being slowly burned. We were not paying attention. We were getting our kids off to school, where American-hating educators were pushing a curriculum that boasted the vision of Karl Marx's Communist Manifesto, but did not require the reading of Thomas Paine's The American Crisis. If they had assigned this reading, they may have understood the following. These are the times that try men's souls. The summer soldier and the sunshine patriot will, in this crisis, shrink from the service of this country. But he that stands is now deserves the love and thanks of man and woman. Tyranny, like hell, is not easily conquered. Yet we have this consolation with us, that the harder the conflict, the more glorious the triumph. Thank you, everybody. God bless you and God bless America. Glenn? Next up we have Eric Brody out here.
Yeah, you got it.
Eric's going to come up and talk for a second. He's going to introduce a great patriot right after that.
Hello, it's me again. How y'all doing? Hello. Okay, guys, so again, who I am. My name is Eric Brody, and I'm a very proud member of the Washington 3%. How many people have heard of the 3%? Let me hear you get real loud if you heard of the 3%. So the question I get all the time, what is the 3%? What is it? Well, it should be no secret. It is the freshest growth on the oldest branch of this government. It is the modern movement. You know what I am talking about. The tree of liberty. And I'm looking for new growth. Who's gonna join me? Uncle Sam is not the only one looking for a few good young men and women. Do I have any out here today? We need you, each and every one of you. We are prepared, we are organized, and we are everywhere. But we can do nothing without each and every one of you coming out here today. We have 4 pillars in our organization: prepare, support, unite, and defend. Who will prepare with me? Who will support their communities? Who will unite this great nation? And who will stand with clenched jaws and clenched fists and defend the beautiful liberty that is the USA? Hear us loud, tyrants. Hear us loud. You have not won a battle. You have not won a war. You have fired the first shot over the bow, and it will be answered. I really enjoy doing these things. I hope y'all do too. Everyone that is here must begin making changes to your everyday life. If you just think, what do we need to do? What's happening around us right now? Well, this is what's happening around you right now. They're taking away your ability to network with one another. They are shutting down very specific businesses. You are looking at nouveau Bolshevik revolution. Absolutely. That is what you are looking at. This is a war against the middle class. Walmart is fine, but don't go to Farm Boy restaurant. Does that make any sense to you? That this is economic warfare. They have to interrupt your economic ability to prepare. Does that look like that's happening? What's happening to your most popular communication platforms? I'm not going to call them social media platforms because they've construed that battle and we're losing it in essence. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, these aren't just social messaging platforms. How many billions of messages, communications are made through those platforms every day? They're taking down your comms. Do you understand what that means? So then what do? You establish different comms. You must begin meeting as communities and discussing every one of the what ifs and how you will be prepared to face nightmares that your grandparents, your parents, your brothers and sisters have faced abroad for generations. Far too long, this nation has thought that it will never come to our shores. It's here. Does anybody doubt that? No. They are amongst us. And what will we do in response will be predicated on the types of decisions that people make day in and day out in their lives. We are a no first use of force organization. We are purely defensive. But in order for us to be effective, we must be ready. And sadly, many of us are not ready, and that you must take a pledge today. You will get ready. Can I hear an amen? Amen. If you need help getting ready, if you are not a fair weather patriot, if you are a soldier of winter with frozen bones and conviction to save this great nation, let me hear hell yeah. And I need you. Like I said, Uncle Sam isn't the only one looking for a few good men and women. We are organized, we are ready, we are everywhere. We are Washington 3%. You can find us at washington3%.org. If they take it down, we'll put it back up. I need you to apply today. I need you to get active. We must fight back. Will you please join me? Yeah! Woo! Like I said, I really like coming out here and doing this stuff, guys. All right, we've got big battles ahead of us. In all seriousness, get together, organize, network, get ready for this, guys. Nobody thinks it's going to happen until they wake up to it, okay? That is the problem. They've turned up the pot, though, just a little bit too much on the frogs. And those of you that are hopping, organizations like mine, our goal is to give you a place to hop to, okay? You guys have seen us for years out there. They've tried to label lynch us, they've tried to cancel culture us, they've tried to destroy us, they throw bricks at us in the street, and they shoot our friends dead like they did in Portland, damn it. We're not going anywhere, okay? And neither are you. Because like I said, to open this isn't about Matt Marshall, this isn't about Joey Gibson, this isn't about Eric Rohde, this isn't about Stuart Rhodes, this isn't about Alex Jones. This is about you. They come to us so they can get to you. They want to make us uncomfortable. I come from a county where our prosecutor literally said they got to figure out how to get rid of this disease thinking and these Trump supporters. That's being said all over the nation. You have the CEO of Twitter, major media outlets saying that they would like to film the execution of conservatives. What would happen to me if I got on this stage and I said this today? Would I make it back to my house on Whidbey Island, or would they get me? But it's okay, he's rich. He's part of the cabal, that's okay. All this label lynching you've been hearing for years, racist, Nazi, white supremacist, militant extremist. That's what they did to my father's family in the Holocaust. I'm a Jewish man. They spread these lies and this filth about you so that you are less than human, which is demonizing you. And it is a justifier down the road. Because once you are trash, they can burn you like trash, and that is what they did to my family.
Kind of the way
you all need to
mainstream
wake
media,
up right now.
like
The alarm clock is ringing.
Right
Nope, that's the Liberty Bell ringing. And it is your job to fight it day in and day out. Are you going to fight? Well, they used to say back in the day, join or die.
April, you're wrong. This is about COVID.
We're looking for a few good men and
This is
women.
one
I hope my
speaker out of
website
a
is
many,
inundated
so
with
sit
applicants.
tight.
That's all I can say. God
They're
bless
here
you all.
So to be clear, April, this is about COVID. What
So
they're
now I'm
talking
gonna go
about
ahead
is
and introduce
opening
the next
small
speaker.
businesses here in Yelm. So
Our next
this is
speaker
one of the
is a
speakers.
combat vet from your 101st and 82nd Airborne.
Give me a second.
He is a board-certified medical professional. He is a nationally and internationally known activist, and he is the
So they're talking
founder
about opening
of Washington
Yelm
3%,
right now.
leading the premier
And small,
patriot
medium-sized
organization
businesses,
in the
which
nation.
In the crowd right now,
With
there
great
are
pleasure,
a
I
handful of
introduce my good
small
friend, Matt
business
Marshall.
owners. There are a handful of small business owners here right now that are representing their desire to reopen their establishments, which is what they're talking about here. So he actually, is from an organization that
Well,
has some
hello.
strong messages.
Thank you
so,
for having such a wonderful
appreciate
event here,
that
Yelm.
This is there's going to be strong views in here.
So
from
what
different
kind of
people,
government
different
do we
speakers.
have?
So and this is what we're talking about. So
A republic, if you can keep it, as Ben Franklin. All right. Well, I don't think that they'd be very happy with how we've been keeping it. Now, the Constitution. That is what most of us base all of our convictions upon. That's the one thing that is supposed to be the law of the land. The Constitution is supposed to be the guiding principle for this country. It is our guidebook. Has it been followed? How long has it not been followed? Do you remember how many of us here, we were attacked and called conspiracy theorists when we had issues after 9/11? Do you remember when we said that we didn't like the Patriot Act? The FISA court system? All of these things that have come to undermine our republic. We were all there crying foul and constitutional violations at those times. Because we could see it. And now the entire world can see it. And what are they doing to the people that saw it then? They're canceling us. They're deleting us. They're taking away our voice. It's already been said, I'm not going to go too far down that one. But it's coming back to them now. We've seen tempers raise both here in Olympia, we saw it happen in DC. People actually stormed the United States Capitol. There's been a lot of rhetoric about needing to do that for a long time, but people actually went and did it. I can't say that I approve of what happened there. I can say that it's a very sad time in our country that people needed or felt they needed to go do that. But we have a nation that is in distress. Two or 3 weeks ago, we sent out an email because our organization was very, very upset about how this legislative process was going to be conducted, with the people being locked out of their house. We were planning an Occupy protest. We were going to take to the Capitol grounds tomorrow evening, and we were going to stay there until we were allowed access to our building. And then this stuff happened on Wednesday. My phone rang off the hook. It wasn't ringing off the hook from patriots or people that were supporters. It was the media wanting to know what I was planning to do to escalate things. There were people asking how much more violent were we planning to be. I was getting phone calls from the Washington State Patrol, from the FBI, wanting to know how we were what our plans were and why we were still going through with this. Well, the media hyped this for us before anything happened in the capitals over this last week. We put out an email saying, Occupy, make this uncomfortable and make your voices heard. And what did they say in the media? They said that I was trying to intimidate legislators with guns and storm the Capitol. And that is not at all what was ever said. We were trying to say we have access to our building. And we want to be involved in our process as the Washington State Constitution requires.
Yeah.
And the media decided that we were trying to have an armed occupation and storm the Capitol. And that was garbage. Not one person reached out to me prior to the Wednesday events. And they ran over 25 articles, local and nationwide. Not one person reached out. So we did. We called off our event. Why? Because they're using this for a false flag.
Yes.
If we showed up there and we actually occupied this Capitol, it doesn't matter if all of the members of our organization, if every person here who showed up decided to be peaceful and do the right thing and demand that we follow the Constitution, we were going to be labeled and destroyed. They're going to come after our livelihoods, our money, our bank accounts, our families, our jobs, because they don't see anything as off limits when you're a patriot. Nothing is off limits. So what's next?
This is the question that all of us have. We're watching a coup against the president. We're watching an entire population of people who support President Trump be canceled. 75 million plus Americans are being canceled by the Silicon Valley.
Yes. Yes.
The radical left is celebrating at the cancellation of all of our voices. Eric said it best. We need to unite. We're starting here, but it goes even deeper. You need to unite in your actual neighborhoods. You need to talk to your neighbors. You need to help each other out because the winter's coming. This is only going to get worse. We've lost so much. The First Amendment, if you're a patriot, no longer exists. Can you speak your mind in public? No. Can you speak your mind at work? No. Can you talk about your religious or personal values anywhere outside of your close-knit circle of friends? No. Why? You will be destroyed. Because if you say, I'm a patriot and love America, then somehow you're a racist Nazi. I mean, and they're going to go after every avenue of your life. We don't have the voice that we need to. First Amendment, if you're a patriot or conservative, it does no longer exist. Second Amendment, we've watched attacks for a decade on the Second Amendment. We've got like 7 bills right now being introduced. Guess what? Those are the priority bills in Olympia right now. What is not the priority? Our economy. Our economy is no longer our number 1 priority because they want to destroy it. Because if they cripple all of us and take our ability to provide for ourselves away, they'll get that many more people willing to bend the knee and stick out their hand and accept what they get from the government and say, thank you, sir. This is a way to implement socialism. They have taken away not just our First and Second Amendments, but they have taken away the premise of what our country was founded on, and that was life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Yes.
So I don't know what the next steps are. People ask me all the time. I don't know. I think we have to wait and see. Because what I envision coming next is the lists. Our names won't just be blocked from social media and able to talk. We'll start disappearing. NDAA would authorize them, if they think that we're a national security threat, to hold us indefinitely without charge. Also against the Constitution. The lists are coming. I know that my days are numbered. Not because I'm going to do anything, because I've never done anything. I have never committed an illegal act. But they don't like what I have to say. They do not like that I am willing to come out here and speak the truth to the people that want to hear it. And that's what we all need to do. Because one voice they can silence. But if all of our voices are moving, if we have the courage to stand up and use our voice and spread the message of freedom and liberty and against the tyrannical government that we have in both Olympia and Washington, D.C., we can get this country back. And that is the only way to do it. We have to use our voice. We cannot do it by allowing them to push us around, but we also cannot do it if we're sitting inside of a prison cell and trying to shoot our way out. That won't work either. So we cannot take the violence right now. We must defend ourselves and make sure we are prepared to fight another day and actually restore this country. So, we've seen so much loss. It's easy to be discouraged right now. Stay positive, all right?
Yeah.
Our forefathers went through some dark days. And remember, what we need to remember, that this is about more than just us. It's for our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. Next up, got David Keller. He's a small business owner. He's worked in law enforcement, and he's a veteran. He's here to talk to you. Good patriot here. Thank you, David.
Yay for small businesses.
Yeah, definitely small businesses is what this is all about right now. Do you see Walmart shut down? No. Is Safeway shut down?
No.
Is any of the big funded companies shut down right now?
No.
No, it's not. Me being prior military combat veteran, I've done 48 months in the sandbox. I spent time as a law enforcement officer for the DOD. One thing both of those jobs had in common was I took an oath. I took an oath to uphold the Constitution and obey lawful, I repeat, lawful orders from those above me.
Thank you.
Is shutting down the economy without the people's vote and without the legislation's vote lawful?
No.
Is it a mandate?
No.
Yeah, it's a mandate. He's abusing his emergency powers to mandate our businesses being shut down. I want to call on the law enforcement sitting across the street because I know they can hear me. Are you going to violate our rights and violate your oath to keep our businesses shut down? I know you have a PA and you can respond. Another one. Who here has to put their kids in daycare so they can go to work? Who here has kids in school, doing school online? Raise their hands.
Yep.
All right. Out of those people who have lost their job because that small business they work for was caused to shut down, who wasn't able to give their children a Christmas, you weren't able to give your kids a Christmas because of the governor's decision. Did he miss a paycheck?
No.
But you did.
Yep.
And they decided to repay you with $600.
Wow.
Really?
Thanks for nothing.
Yeah, all that being said, law enforcement, our government officials, everybody else, they are supposed to be our voice. They're not supposed to do what they want because they're being paid by lobbyists to push an agenda.
Right.
Just yesterday, I saw that King County released their flu numbers for this year.
That would be telling.
It is 0.
Yes.
Really?
Wow.
An 85,000 death a year flu is now non-existent.
Right.
What do you think they're actually pushing?
Moving.
Yep.
All right, so out of the raise of hands, who lost their job? Who still is not employed? And who has kids?
Who is a kid?
Lady in the red pants, come up here, please. As a small business owner, I'm still working. Other people aren't. I want you to treat your kids. That's all we can do in this community is support fellow citizens, everybody in our community. We are one community. You need to open your business. Quarter mile. You should have been open today. Everybody needs to go back, open their doors. If we do it as one, they will not stop us. You think you don't have the support. You can't deal with the legal fees. Everybody in your community is here to back you. If I have to drain my savings, drain my bank account, and take it where I'm going to bankruptcy to help somebody else, I will.
Yes.
Oh, it's not. All I have to say is open Yelm, open Olympia, open everything. This is our state. The governor is not in charge. He speaks for us. Glenn, you're next.
Hey, thank you. That was a great part of just standing up for somebody else in the community, wasn't it? I didn't know that was going to happen, so that was good to see. I do want to make a point just to reemphasize what he was saying. That just 2 days ago in Cowlitz County, we were outside the courthouse, and a Stuffy's restaurant, all of their waitresses were there. Inslee doesn't care, right? No one in government cares. There's no one that is in elected office right now that cares, because none of them are missing paychecks. None of them will miss a paycheck. None of them ever have missed a paycheck. In fact, most of them got pay raises. And so they didn't care that there were 40 employees that worked at that restaurant that weren't going to have a Christmas unless the owners opened up. And they had begged the owners to open up, and they were willing to. And obviously the state is directing all their resources to come after and destroy a little business. Now, the state was so incompetent that they didn't actually file the documents correctly when they served them. And so their granddaughter, who just graduated from high school, was able to beat him in court and throw it out, and the judge got to kick it down the road a couple of weeks, right? But the thing to remember about that is that corruption in government, there's a mountain of corruption in government, but it is basically covered by an ocean of incompetence. And it's on display all the time. The Employment Security Department decided it was more important to send hundreds of millions of dollars over to Nigerian fraud scheme rather than actually pay unemployment checks. So several of these business owners were actually trying to help their employees get on unemployment, and they would work days and they could never get through on the phone call. Or they had been, some fraud had already occurred and they were banned from getting unemployment. And that is our state at work. And if you want to know Governor Inslee's apparent vision for us, just drive along Capitol Lake and look at what the camp that's over there right now, right? That's about as good as the government's got. That's apparently their vision for us. And they're very angry when anybody actually exposes that. And actually, in fact, I'm going out to take video of some of the wonderful plans and dreams and utopia that they have for us, because they put it on display. And it's really worth knowing that that's what's going on out there. And appreciate these businesses that are willing to reopen to give people an opportunity to actually make a living for themselves and not be wards of the state moving into the Inslee's camps around Capitol Lake. So with that, I just wanted to introduce somebody who helped organize this event. Darren, come on up. I just want you to say a couple words. I want to thank him for organizing this event today, being willing to stand up and do that.
How y'all doing? Just want to thank all you guys for having the courage to come out here today. A lot of people backed out. And you know, what can I do? What can you do to change your community? You know, we're living in a tyrannical government, huh?
Microphone to your mouth.
What can you do to make change in America? We're living in a tyrannical government now. It's past that time. We've heard it over and over. Well, what can you do to make change? Well, I was standing at Spiffy's December 4th, and we were protesting. He was staying open to make a living and getting attacked. He got attacked by the newspaper, the media, everybody. They were just attacking him, talking about the Patriots in the parking lot. I left there and said, you know what, I'm going to open Yelm. And, you know, my own community. So I started talking to all the restaurant owners, all the businesses. I wrote a letter to City Council. City Council and the mayor, the Democratic mayor, actually mailed a letter to Jay Inslee. And he said they're not taking no more. They want the people to open. But then December 4th was a long time ago, and a lot of things have changed since then. And a lot of people backed out of this. You know, you can do it. I mean, like, you guys, every one of you that came here today had courage to show up, knowing that people are going to point fingers at you and call you all kinds of dirty things just because you're a patriot, you know, and like, it doesn't matter. I mean, you can call me anything. You can call me a Nazi. I got black children. They call me a Nazi. I'm a Native American card-carrying member of the Choctaw tribe, and I'm a Nazi. Skip that. You know, I don't belong to any organizations. I have a lot of friends in a lot of all of the organizations, but I don't officially belong to any organizations. But yet, all you guys are here because I had a dream, and the dream got derailed, and Ryan helped me out. You know, and I really wanted this to be a reopen Yelm rally, and they got scared. It's not me putting $200,000 on, you know, facing these fines. I can tell them until I'm blue in the face that the Constitution doesn't allow that. But it's not me facing those costs. Just thank everybody. Like, stand up, you know, and stand up. Do what you can. What can you do? What can you do to fight tyranny? Well, I'll tell you this: we the people voted for $30 car tabs. A lot of you went and repaid it. I haven't. My tab's been expired since last February. I've been pulled over 3 times and not had a ticket. And explained to the officer why I did not pay him. I mean, they're not mean. Like if you tell the truth and tell why, you will never go wrong. You will never go wrong when you speak the truth. And I don't know, America's in a bad way, but we cannot stop fighting. They're silencing us left and right. But what can we do? Just stay doing stuff like this. Go back to your community and do this. It doesn't matter. This isn't in Olympia, you know what I mean? This is in Yelm, Washington. Who'd ever thought we'd have a rally in Yelm, Washington? But here we are. All right, but here we are. You know, it's beautiful. You know, thank all you guys for coming out here, and just keep continuing to fight.
Yes.
Love all y'all.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Darren, thank you so much for organizing this tonight. I'm going to be, or today, rapidly becoming tonight. No, we won't be here that long. Actually, I'm going to introduce the next person coming up to speak. Her name is Tamborine Borelli, and she's an election integrity investigator who began as a board member with Election Justice USA in 2016, delivering Bernie Sanders a comprehensive statistical analysis of the stolen primary by the Democratic Party. She currently is the director of Washington Election Integrity Coalition United, We See You, and is committed to rooting out all forms of election integrity issues so the voters of Washington can have a transparent, secure, and publicly verified elections. Tamborine Borelli.
Thank you, everyone. How many people here had a feeling something was wrong with our election on 11/3/2020? Did anyone here have anything peculiar happen with their ballot or registration or anything like that? Did you get your signature challenged? Yes. I'm going to ask you a favor. Anyone here who experienced something that they never experienced in any other election, the few things I just mentioned, please, we want to hear from you, because we need every signed affidavit that we can get, because we are filing our lawsuit in a few short days. Our lawyer is taking some of the last depositions of our whistleblowers, and we're filing on a few different areas. And I'm not going to take a lot of time with you here today to go into every detail, because it's cold and there's quite a few other people to speak. But I did want to give you a few details of what happened in your election. Not just what we felt in our gut, in our hearts that happened. I want to give you a couple actual facts that you can have in your arsenal and speak intelligently to someone who denies that there's any evidence. On November 3rd at 9:36 and 43 seconds. By the way, when the media reports any numbers, they're getting it from the Secretary of State. So all of these numbers are from our Washington Secretary of State. I didn't make them up. 9:36 p.m., the governor's race. Inslee was, first of all, how do you call a race for someone with 0% reporting? It's just me, that just seems a little, I don't know if they're psychic. So Inslee was reported of having 3,331,381, and Culp was reported to have 2,030,539. That total, brothers and sisters, is 5,361,920. And the only strange thing about that number is the fact at that moment in time, the registered voters of Washington State was only 4,887,536. So that gives us, I did the math, 474,384 more ballots than there were registered voters. Did you know that?
Ridiculous!
Okay. And altogether, 467,000 ballots they were cast. These ballots were cast over the totals of the governors and the presidential races. How is that? This is how it is. Because it is a death by 1,000 cuts. They have multiple ways that they steal our voice and our vote. Multiple ways. So you can't just say one way and they can try to discount one way. There's a myriad of ways, and they're organized more than you could ever imagine in your life.
Yeah.
But we're dismantling it.
Yay! Yeah! Yeah!
We are, and just briefly, I'm going to tell you, there's only one way out of this. Well, one way until there's another way out of it.
Praise Jesus!
Hallelujah.
Well said.
So listen, they have one last chance. Just like Trump, our amazing once-in-a-lifetime president gave our Vice President, Mike Pence, on January 6th when he said, I hope he does the right thing. He obviously didn't. But we are going to give those who say they represent us one last chance to do the right thing. That's right. We, the governed, the power is in our Constitution. Our Constitution gave us the power, the governed.
Yes.
But if they refuse to govern us and give us our liberty that leads to our freedom, then they no longer have the right to govern us.
Yes. Yes.
We have to remove our consent. And us here right now, standing up and being here, not putting on a mask when you go in, refusing, that's refusing and removing our consent. So listen, you, every one of you here that are standing up with a strong backbone, it's you, every one of you that is gonna save this. So we have a bill. We wrote a bill that's going to be done in about 24 hours. And this bill, you know what it says? And listen, every single one of you, I want to give it to you. I want you to share it amongst yourself. I want it to be viral because this bill is their last chance to represent us. And the bill says this: we no longer consent to mail-in voting. No more. We no longer consent to drop box voting because there's zero chain of custody. How in the world can evidence in a court of law be not admissible when chain of custody is broken and chain of custody have nothing to do with our sacred ballots? How is that possible? So, no more. And no more of these tabulators that calculate the vote, not count the vote. No more machines. Thank you. That's right. These machines, let me tell you something, it's not one way of it. They do hack, but these machines, you don't need to hack them. They come with a feature, and it's called a weighted race feature. Some call it fraction magic. We know it as hammer scorecard. If you go to our YouTube at WEICU on YouTube, you will see videos of the programmer that created or discovered, not created, scratch that, discovered scorecard. You'll see it in action on our YouTube. So listen, please everyone, I want you to see this bill Because not only is it taking away the things that are allowing them to cheat, this is what we want. Do you want to hear what we want? Yeah. Let me hear you. Do you want to hear what we want? Yeah. We want dog. Yeah, the dog. G-O-D backwards. This is what we want. We want hand-counted paper ballots at the precinct level with full citizen oversight and unbroken chain of custody. You're gonna tell me that there aren't patriots that would be honored to come and count at the precinct level? I introduced this to Mary Hall, the Thurston County auditor, and she about had a heart attack and said, no, that could never happen. We could never do it. Are you serious? We could never do it? At a precinct level, it's very doable. Everybody here would take a number of votes and it would be done before the sun set on the election. So, hand-counted paper ballots. Can I hear you say that? Hand-counted paper ballots.
Yes.
That's right. Okay, we want that. And this bill, we have to impress upon them that that is what we want. And so can everyone here, listen, we've had some problems getting our social media presence. Not that at this time it's a problem for everybody. Can I ask every one of you here, please, can you please go to our website so we can be in contact with you, so we can give you information about what's going on in the court and what's going on with this bill and how you can help impress upon our legislators that they're gonna pass this legislation, or I'll just leave it at that. Not in the middle of the night. Okay, everyone, please, WEICU.org. And on Proton Mail, it's WeSeeYou@ProtonMail.com. Now, let me see your hands. Who's gonna go on there? Not just, be at a rally. I'm gonna do it. Who's gonna really do it? Really do it, you guys. Because listen, if we don't fix this, right, we can come and meet every day of the week, every month of the year, at any and every rally that they have, and it won't make a damn difference. We have to change the law. We have to change the law.
Yes.
Yeah! Yes!
Yes.
Okay, you guys. One time, I want you to say, we will never consent. I want you to say it 3 times, and I want you to mean it with all of your heart. Because we're going to open up Yelm. We're never going to consent to them trying to make us bow down to their socialist agenda.
Right.
And as long as we always stand together and make sure that we're one and not divided, they will never, ever win. So here we go. We will not consent! We will not consent! We will not consent! Thank you, Patriots!
How's everybody doing today?
Hello.
Yeah. Okay, we got a couple more coming up here to talk. Right now we got Steven. He's going to be talking about
Acts of war, acts of violence, enslavement, and what we're really up against technologically.
outstanding. All right, come on, bud.
Hello, brothers and sisters. All right, I'll try to make this quick, but it's hard to squeeze in. All right. I want everybody to understand about acts of war, acts of violence, and enslavement, and what we're really up against technologically. I taught women's self-defense for many years. And when I was teaching them, I said, if you're under attack, you cannot simply defend. You're going to end up losing. At some point, your defense must become offensive.
Now, do not misunderstand me. I'm not going to stand here and advocate violence. So don't anyone run off and say that. Now, very quickly, about enslavement. These tyrants believe in enslavement. They believe we deserve to be their slaves. In 1309, the papal bull issued by the Pope said, "I own all human souls." Got that? All the wars, all the slave trade, everything we're under to this day still comes from that papal bull. So go tell your Antifa and Black Lives Matter friends where enslavement and the slave trade really came from. The Civil War in America, the second Civil War, in 1861, that was our second one, converted everyone else to federal citizen slaves. It was a more sophisticated act of war and enslavement against us. What we're up against now is beyond election fraud. It is beyond shutting down our economy. It is beyond corruption in politics. They have 30,000 satellites in space with the 5G weaponized system. If you have a cell phone, you're holding the most dangerous weapon ever devised. Everybody hold it up if you got one. Now, it seems to be a good thing to show what's going on, and they've made you dependent to communicate with it. That technology can transmit any disease. That technology puts you under total surveillance. You have surrendered your Constitution because they're tracking your every move. So everybody gets up worried about losing our Constitution. I'm here with you. It's sacred. We must protect it. But you've given it up. Now, along with the 5G system and the cell phone towers and the cell phone is now the vaccine campaign with a false pandemic. They are trying to go to the next level of enslavement to download in you the operating system for the 5G technology. The vaccines, that's what they do, people. Wake up. You need to understand what we're really up against. Now, I'm with all these brothers. I'm with them on everything they said. But if you don't understand technological enslavement, you're going to miss the boat. It's beyond election fraud. Now, I too am hoping our president will pull out a miracle this weekend. All right? And he better act quick. Personally, I think some mistakes have been made. But we're still holding strong on that. But you must understand, they don't care about elections anymore. They don't. And they don't even care about us standing for the Second Amendment because they've already figured out technology to make that meaningless. They've already vaccinated 5 million Americans. They are going to die. I beg you, do not get any vaccine at this point, and do not let anybody you love get it. They are designed to kill you. Okay? I love all of you. Stand strong. Do what the brothers said. Organize. Get together. Protect everybody you care about. And be prepared, I'm sorry to say, for a long civil war, no matter what happens. Even if Trump pulls out a miracle, we are in civil war now. Thank you very much.
Okay, everybody, we have another small business owner or business owner coming up next. His name is Tim Tucker. This is a great American patriot. He's got a couple things to talk about. Come on up, Tim.
Good early afternoon, everybody. May God bless all of you during these trying times and keep your family safe and give you the armor of God. I want to talk to you about a few things today. Number one is the real target. The second one will be about suppression. And then the other will be about the future. Okay? So the real target of what they're doing is God. Understand that when they quiet us and they suppress our voice, we don't stand up for freedom. These are God-given freedoms. They've shut down the churches. Why? Because as we all go out there and we preach and we say God's name in Jesus' name, it keeps us free. And it keeps us believing that we can have a better life. And we don't become subservient, indentured servants to what they're doing. And I know a lot about it being an indentured servant. I served this country for 20 years, and all my brothers and sisters who were in the service know we're indentured servants when we do that, right? I had the displeasure of serving for 3 globalist presidents, and then I retired under the greatest president that we've ever had in our country. And I want to say thank you to God for putting Trump out here, because he fought against the evil. Now let's go down to suppression. I want to read you guys something, because you guys all saw Twitter taking everyone offline and everything that happened. So you guys know a little bit about suppression. Let me read you guys something. Representative Matt Shea has been suspended from any role in the House Republican caucus. He should resign. He cannot use House Republican staff. He cannot meet with the caucus. His office will be moved. That sure sounds like suppression, doesn't it? Especially when the accusations against him were unfounded, or they were pulled off of WikiLeaks, right? Oh, I'm sorry, Wikipedia, I apologize. Anyways, we go into that. That famous person is your own JT Wilcox from Yelm. So now, I'm gonna ask you guys, I'm gonna give you a if the shoe fits type wear it speech, right? We've all had these in the military. It's a big boy rule type speech. Yelm, 2nd Legislative District, you guys are responsible for JT Wilcox and Andrew Barkis. You guys put him into office. You guys re-elected him.
No, we didn't. No, we didn't.
Okay, if he was rigged, then you must continue the fight to expose him and continue to apply pressure on him. They are not going to fight for you. Do you see anywhere in today's legislative what they're going for of reduction of liabilities for the people? No. You know why they don't care? JT Wilcox got almost $3 million in PPP loans. How much did you guys get? Did you get almost $3 million? Do you think that he skipped a paycheck from his representative position? His $50,000+ they get for 3 months of service? And if you have a leader who is sitting up there and saying, my hands are tied, I cannot do anything, is it not time to put a new leader in that seat? Come on, people, right? Like, we have to. It's a great time to maybe do some research about a recall. Wouldn't it be great if the recall came from his own people that he represents? Right? Andrew Barkis is another one that needs to go. If you read the Seattle Times, he said, oh, well, he might be okay with small tax increases, but let's not get crazy. No Republican should be standing up there talking about, I'm okay with any tax increase, especially during today. We are being sucked into indentured servitude. Enough. This is our country. Start standing up. Now, I'm going to tell you guys another little dirty secret about this Republican Party within the state. And just so you guys know, I am the vice chair of the 25th Legislative District for the Republican Party. I am actively trying to call out our bad representation because they are not serving the people. $30 car tabs. You guys are pretty pissed about that, right? Do you know who brought that bill? It was the Republicans who passed that bill. The 2015 motor tax bill authorized them to create the Sound Transit Board that raises our taxes 1%. Do you know who is the president of that board? Bruce Danmeyer, who voted for the he voted for the bill. Now he sits up there and he says, oh guys, don't worry about it. I voted against them raising your taxes, right? It's the same old smoke and mirrors, guys. They're gonna tell you what they want you to believe. So that way you go back to your house, you're sitting there and you're like, you know what, life is great. And you know what, life is good because we live in the best country in the world. But listen, we got a lot of work to do, folks, right? So let's talk about a better future. Thank you to the 3%ers because you guys always keep us free. I appreciate you. Thank you to the libertarians. Thank you for the people who show up at these rallies and continue to talk and to spread freedom. Because every time we talk about freedom, God smiles upstairs, believe it, guys, right? So it's talking about a better future, right? I have a great friend named Keith Swank who is running for WSRP chairman. We are going to try to remove the tyrant, Caleb Heinlich. I need all of you guys to contact your committee men, your committee women, your chairmen of your counties. If you have friends or family that live in a county over on the eastern side of Washington that don't get over here all the time, call them. Tell them they must vote for Keith Swank. The vote is on the 16th of this month. We're going up there. We're going to try to make change. If we can get Keith Swank in that position, we can finally have someone who will sit up there, and when these turncoats like Herrera, Newhouse, Morris Rogers don't support our president, guess what? You have just been excommunicated. Go find another party, right? Hey, with all of that, I want to wish you guys a wonderful, wonderful day. God bless you. I hope you are safe. Continue the fight. Do not let them silence your voice. God bless and amen.
Thanks, Tim. That was awesome. Okay, we got another person coming up here. He's a big community advocate. I'm sure a lot of you know who he is. Alan Acosta is going to be coming up here. He's going to be talking about Yelm, opening up Yelm, some nonprofits that we can be part of. Thanks.
I'll head over the other side. So again, for all you guys that are out here, thank you for coming out. First of all, I want to say thank you to Yelm City Council for their resolution and supporting small businesses and local businesses here. The resolution saying that they disagree with the lockdowns that our governor has mandated. And, you know, local businesses are a very integral part of our communities because those businesses generate not only employment, but the local economy here, which is very important to this community, these dollars that stay in these communities. Right. So again, I want to say thank you. I see some city councilmen that did show up. Thank you for coming out and supporting this event. Yeah. A little bit about me. So I am a naturalized immigrant from the Philippines. I fled during martial law, during the Marcos regime. So, you know, my dad immigrated first, and then my mom and I followed right after, seeking better opportunities, freedom, being able to live our lives the way we see fit, right? And so, fast forward a little bit, I joined the military, served on 3 combat deployments. I'm a Purple Heart recipient, retired Army officer. And I have been engaged in this community, in the South Sound community, in community activism for nearly a decade now, fighting food insecurities, trying to solve our homeless issues, and many other shortfalls in policies that affects our community and our most vulnerable. In addition, you know, I've been an advocate also for the Bill of Rights, especially in the Second Amendment arena and the Freedom and First Amendment. You guys have probably seen me up there working a lot of the legislation, speaking at the committee hearings, because I know when it's one-sided, when the government has all the power and the people don't, it's an upset of balance. And when I deployed, I also saw the effects of these tyrannies when it's one-sided. We saw it on the deployments. During the early times of the Iraq War, I helped reshape and build those provinces in Iraq. I did not think I'd have to be doing it here in America. I did not think I'd have to be doing it here in our own communities. I've seen when an economy has been decimated by governments, not only from the Middle East, Southeast Asia, and across the globe. And I did not, again, wasn't expecting it to happen here. To rebuild these communities. It's hard, costs a lot of money. We need to reopen, we need to start up our business. Yeah. Don't be afraid. The city has already said that they support these businesses by enacting this resolution. Okay? We are here to support the local businesses and do what's right. Live your life how you see fit. And again, thank you for having me up here. And I support all you. Support Yelm. Support September.
Thank you so much, Alan. I'm Virginia Coverdale. I
I ran the Trump campaign in Thurston County in 2016. And been active in a lot of things over the years. I only want to take 1 minute before we introduce our next speaker, but I wanted to just talk about something very near and dear to my heart. I had a daughter in school. I took her out as soon as I saw what was going on about 10 years ago. If we don't want to lose another generation to this indoctrination, you must take your children out of that cesspool. Why are they still there when they're learning online? Why are you allowing these communists to teach your children? Do we want to lose another generation? Then man up. You don't leave them with a rapist and you don't leave them with a communist. You're already out of work. Stay home and teach them. I'm sorry, I'm not going to sit there and say it nicely anymore. We already lost the millennials. We cannot lose Generation Z. It is your job to watch what they're reading and they're seeing and they're learning. We read a world cultures book where my daughter was taught how the horrible Nazis, and of course Nazis are horrible. Of course they should have covered it. Of course they should talk about the deaths. And they got to the communist section and they didn't discuss one death. They were the good guys. I had to tell my daughter that while Hitler killed 18 million, they killed 200 million. So stop it. Find somebody, get a community together and take turns, whatever you have to do. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you and God bless. I'm going to introduce Ken North, who will tell you about himself. He's a very intelligent man who knows a lot about this virus. It's his field. And we're going to learn a little bit about how we were taken for a ride. No surprise.
Looks like we're in for an educational moment here. They got a graph and everything. All right, that's preparation.
My name is Ken Morris, and my degree is bacteriology and public health. All my training in graduate school, all my training in college was all public health. As a matter of fact, I'm a classmate of Art Starry, who's one of the high up in the public health here in Thurston County. Today I'm going to give you a quick lesson in epidemiology. I'm going to talk about the epi curve. And so what we have here is on the left we have the projection from COVID, the COVID projection from Cambridge College in England, and this is what scared all the world leaders, saying, "Oh my God, we got to shut everything down." This was their reason. So to understand epidemiologists, they work with big numbers. And so they use certain metrics, certain ways. So this is a fraction.
Like calculators.
This represents, over there you see the number 17. So this here was going to be the height of the epidemic, where we would lose 17 people per day per every 100,000 people. It doesn't sound like a big number, but when you multiply this out for 360 million people, the prediction was 2.2 million would die. That's a lot of people. That is as bad a proportion as which died in the Spanish flu in 1918, 1919. And this was to happen in about a 4-month period. So it started bothering me, the state statistics, the epi curve that they had. I've watched it assiduously all along. I've got many, many screenshots. And I started thinking about, wait a minute, something is off. So what I did was I realized that it was an apples and oranges sort of thing. This over curve on the other right, the black one, there on it would be your left. That's the epi curve from March 1st through April 4th of 2020. What that is not the same as this curve. It looks the same. It's about as high. It's a bar curve instead of a nice curvy one. Computer generated this one. This is actual data.
Those are graph facts he's
State
dropped
Department of Health data.
Some solid graph
But this is 17 deaths per day, but it's per 7.5 million people. It has the wrong denominator. It's apples and oranges. So I had to run this calculation 5 different times to convince me because I didn't believe it was true. The actual pandemic is only this big. Can you see that blue line at the bottom? I put a green arrow to point to the peak.
He threw a curveball at
everyone's straining. They're going like this. Why?
Didn't see that
I can't
coming.
see it. If you can't see it, well, this is what I've done is I've taken the raw data. You never compare raw data with the epi curve. This is raw data, but well, that was raw data. So I translated into the same denominator, and the epidemic disappears. It just simply disappears. I don't believe it even qualifies for an epidemic, much less a pandemic. It is a novel virus that hits a very select part of the population of people that are very, very sick. You already have to have a foot in the grave before the COVID can take you out. That's the truth of it. And this shows the magnitude of deception here.
The green arrow.
It is like they're 98% wrong in their prediction, and they're still pushing this thing. And now the same people are doing this to you, they're deceiving you, want you to take their vaccine. Do not take the vaccine. Thank you very much.
That was nice nice graph work right there. That's impressive.
Thanks, Ken. That was great. Very informative. Okay, we got one last speaker here, Jeremiah. He's got a couple words to say.
You really with the red thing and that's a wow. How about it, huh?
God unleashed me. I move around. So I spoke at a couple rallies. Apparently, I like to hear myself talk. First, these people right here that are out here, you guys are courageous. Yelm's courageous. You're at the front of this battle. Okay? So thank you. Thank you. The front is rough. The view's beautiful, but you're lonely because everybody else is back there. So thank you. The reason I do this, everyone wants to turn around real quick. The playground right there. The little ones running around right there got no idea what's going on. And if we keep doing what we're doing, there's not going to be those anymore. And me, you, all of us are doing. I told him to leave this up because I thought it was kind of cool because I want to show you guys something here. This right down here, this is the COVID right here. This right up here, those are the freedoms they're taking away. This is what they're doing. And not going to do, this is what they're doing. Did you ever think in your life you would be standing in a courtyard in Yelm asking them to allow you to eat a meal across the street? There you go. That brings me to my next. Free man right here. So earlier, I don't remember who it said, and I'm not saying it's wrong, I'm not down on anybody. It said, we can't speak at work about things. And we can't go do things, and we can't, and we can't, and we can't. Who said? I listened to a few people. One, my father, because he's old as shit. So he knows things, he's seen things. The person I listen to most, he's way up there. Way up there. And you know what he says to me? He says, if you can go to Safeway and buy donuts, you can go to any small business and eat donuts. He said, if Costco requires masks on every single person to get through the door, even if you've got an exception, they will not let you in the door. An exemption, sorry. They won't let you in the door. 170 people, I think last I heard, outbreak, had it from Costco. All of them with their masks on. And Costco's wide open. But Stuffy's in my town has a $126,000 fine and possible jail sentence for 0 cases coming out of there. That seems okay. So here's what I really want to talk about. What do we do? Because this is cool right here. This is cool, but has this done anything? We got a restaurant or two open in Washington. We rah. We're going to sue some people. Maybe. It's a start, but we need to go. So I tried to explain to some people earlier, if Trump's in office, it's way better for us. If Trump's not in office, that sucks, but we're the people. We have the power. Okay? There's systemic racism that I hear about all the time. That the system's been around for Republicans and Democrats and anybody else in there. So we need Trump, we don't need Trump. Like I said, I want Trump in there. But we need to take personal accountability for our freedoms and our actions and our choices. I don't wear a mask. I don't wear a mask. Pre-symptomatic and asymptomatic spread doesn't exist in my opinion. I have a medical degree, I'm a registered nurse. I don't know everything, but I haven't seen it, I don't believe it, I don't do it. If you tell me to put a mask on, I don't spend my money in your store. I go damn near everywhere without a mask on because I choose to. So what's coming? Dark days, a fight. How do you prepare for a fight? You prepare for a fight. I work out twice every day. I do not work out twice every day so I can flex in the mirror. I work out twice every day, two-part. One, because a war right now, the war's on our minds and our freedom. It could very well become physical, and I want to be ready for it. There's also a war on your mind. How stressful is this? I'm a small business owner. Shut her down. That's stressful. Hey, I need to go. Literally, my wife, she's not back yet. She has to pee. And they're all closed down. You can't pee. That's stressful. So control what you put in your brain. If you are sitting in front of the television all day and swiping through social media all day, you will go nuts. Control what you put in your brain. Dark Side of the Light Chasers, beautiful book that helps with mental health. Sean Whalen's Get Shit Done will literally give you a map of how to get shit done. David Goggins' Can't Hurt Me talks about struggles and tribulations and all kinds of things to clear your mind up, because it's gotta be personal responsibility. And next, how do we keep this going? I have a group on Facebook, it's called Support the Courageous. I travel around to every one of these and support all I can. I've got 1,100 members on there. We're growing. If they shut me down, they don't shut me up. I've got somebody building the website right now. I'm on Parler, Twitter, blah, 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 all that shit. If they shut it all down, I will knock door to door to spread the message. Door to door. Everyone here should have each other's phone number and name and email. Every single one of you should have already done that. Every single one of you. And we're not. I haven't done it. We're not doing it, but we have to do it. We don't have a choice. I'm going to tell you something else. Everybody is, the Democrats are our enemy, the Republicans are our enemy. They're not our enemy. They're being fed bullshit, and a lot of them believe it. But I would encourage you, when you say, I voted for Trump, and they say, you're a racist, don't say and walk away. Say, let's have a talk. We need to identify who our enemies are. And many of the Democrats are not your enemy. They're, whoa, but they're not your enemy. So sit down and say, tell me why I'm a racist. Do you like censorship? Do you like losing your rights? Do you like this and that? Because it's going to be a very big group against a very small group. And we need to know who our friends are, know who our enemies are, and be able to get a hold of each other. Literally, how do we know about this if social media is shut down? I wouldn't have known.
That's right.
So start getting back to the old school stuff. When I was a kid and I had the damn cord on the phone and I couldn't get very far away, and it was a party line, I'm like, oh, sorry, neighbor's on it, hold on. And then you get to talk real quick because long distance is $74 a second. That's what my parents told me anyway. So you're like, hey, yeah, we'll meet tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Okay, bye. You call people on the phone. You write letters. Come on, guys, it's not that difficult. It's a beautiful start. I love every one of you. Believe your feelings in your heart. Believe the noise coming up above. And let's go.
Thank you so much. We so appreciate all of you coming out. It's for you, it's for your kids, it's for your grandkids. We will never give up. We will never surrender. And have a little uplift on our way out. Oh, by the way, Darren Culbertson, who did most of the arranging for this, another round of applause, please, and Ryan Inc. And a special thanks also to Ryan Ingram. And everyone, these guys go from place to place. They never give up, they never back down. I believe in all of you. Just stay positive, focus on what we want, and don't give in. We're gonna have Carrie French, who has been a political activist for years. She's one of us, a real patriot. She's also sits in King County on the board. She also has a lovely voice, is gonna sing God Bless America. I hope you all sing along and have a wonderful day and safe travel home.
Yes, I understand that we have problems with the Republican Party, and that's why I would love for all of you to join, because we need like-minded people to take over the party and keep it constitutional, because there are people who want to take it to the left. In fact, I had this argument with our board members saying, well, the leftists will say, I said, who cares what the left is going to say about us? We could cure cancer and they'll say we put doctors out of work. Stand on the Constitution. If you have not read this, get one. They're up here. Get one and read this. I did 10 years in the Navy before I ever read this. So read this, because this is the foundation of our freedom. So I hope you all join me. Go. Thank you all for coming. Keep America free. Do not comply. Read the Constitution.
Thanks for coming out, everybody. We're going to do some more of these. This is just the first one. Have a great day and be safe. On the road. On the road.
Understood. Appreciate it. Thank you for coming out. Person in action. Hey. How you doing, buddy? You're good, man. Coming down. Yeah, there you go. Hey, brother. Thank you. And it's funny, you know.
Thank you.
And we've got to find a way to start working together. So we can have I'm afraid to go back in jail and face like a working police. This was our first one. You ready? It's just
I just want I do a live feed right now. I've been out here kind of covering some of these other freedom rallies, and I wanted to ask you a little bit about your business and kind of what's happened and what really drove you to like coming out today and organizing.
I actually don't have a business.
Okay.
And I do not like what's going down here in America.
Oh, okay.
And I wanted to speak up to it. The business is getting open. They're scared. My money's not online. I can tell them across the street until I'm in space. But it's not my money online.
Oh, okay. I was under the impression that you had a business in town here. Right.
I mean, I'm a business owner. Okay. You know, and I know that there's a lead.
Let me bring this over here. Sorry, I'd love to chat with you a little bit here. You might have to talk a little loud here so they can hear you.
So anyways, I mean, I am a business owner. Yes, our sales were down last year. Worked my tail off to try to keep everything going. We weren't in the red, which is good.
Right.
But we were 26% down from the prior year. That's a huge number, right? And the only way that I was able to survive, honestly, is working 12 to 16-hour days.
Right.
Okay? I didn't have any contract employees. I did it all myself.
Did you have to lay any employees off?
No actual employees.
Okay.
I kept them all.
Nice.
Okay. Our actual payroll this year, because we're an LLC, so we have to do a meeting and all that. But we were down by like almost 7% on what we paid in payroll in 2020 compared to 2019, which isn't much now compared to how much of a down that we were, overall. Now, what I didn't do is I didn't use contract employees. Okay, I just kept working. And so I'm a fighter. I have been for a really long time. I'm a veteran. I know what our freedoms are worth, and I'm just not willing to just be quiet.
Right.
And so that's kind of what's happened with us. But I don't close.
What do you hope will happen for some of the small businesses that have been radically impacted by the effects of these mandates? I mean, what I know they've talked about these rallies, but what do you see as the best hope for the next steps?
So the best hope is for solidarity, for every business to talk to another business. Everybody start working together. The old cliche that has been heard for decades is united we stand. And we all know what the next part is.
Right.
So we have to stand together. And we have to support each other. The whole idea that I see, and right or wrong, I don't know, but what I see is that we have a situation that the middle class, is trying to be decimated. And most of the people that vote conservative are business owners because they know what they pay in taxes. And so if they can destroy that, they can actually, if this one thing we're doing now with the actual fraud in the election, if that doesn't work, then now they get rid of everybody that would ever vote against them. Okay? So we have to come back together. We have to unite. All groups, honestly, should be trying to find other groups where we can all put our muscle together. Right? So this goes for the patriots, this goes for business owners, this goes for everything.
Sure. Got it. Well, I appreciate you taking time.
You bet.
Thank you. You're welcome. Here, if you want to check it out, this is the live feed that I run off of. So come hop in there, say hi.
Okay, I will. Thank you very much.
Appreciate you.
And thanks for coming out to cover stuff like
It's
this.
my hometown, so it's good to be back. I've been around the country for the last year, so it's nice to be back where my roots are. So
good.
It's good stuff. Yeah.
What? Because maybe music audio or someone else. From God Bless America?
You're just a controversial dude, Jason. Censorship, man. He's had his pages blocked because of, now they're saying because of music, because someone was saying God Bless America, I guess. I don't know. That's sad. That's rough. So who else we had down here? This gentleman, let's talk to him real fast. I'm not trying to fall down this hill here. How we doing? Hey, do you mind talking for a couple minutes here? I do. We've been covering as much stuff as possible with the reopen rallies. And
Who are you guys?
I'm CJTV. I do a live feed. I've been all around the nation now doing things from the independent journalist standpoint. And I'm actually from Yelm, so it's nice to be back.
Boy.
Yeah, back in my hometown here. You know, Mike here.
Okay.
So we heard your speech. What are you hoping will happen? What are we hoping to have happen?
With that aspect, because that's a large question.
Right,
so
right.
You got to break it down for me because I'm old and
Gotcha. As a business owner, like, what are we hoping will happen for these businesses that have been radically impacted by these mandates of COVID-19?
So here's the ground truth, and no matter what anyone says, this is the truth. If you are going to lock down small businesses, mom and pops,
sure,
right, so they can't feed their family, you cannot have big, large corporations and businesses being able to function, government paychecks, lock everyone down, figure out a way to create your system where you're giving everyone money, right? Because if that's what they truly want, then just go ahead and do that.
Right.
But if you don't want that, and you want capitalism to work the way it's supposed to work, open everything up. If people are scared to go out because they don't want to catch the virus, that's okay. We're not going to talk bad about you. Let's create a little thing. I think they have a thing called unemployment, right? They already have an unemployment, right? They can get unemployment benefits, and they can go to the doctor until it's safe, right? And then that way they're taken care of. You and me can go out. We can experience life. the way it's supposed to be, free and open, right? People can still provide for their families, and that's a system or a way for everyone to have what they want, right? But the problem is, and they're not going to tell you, is they want, it's a huge bank robbery, right? The truth of the matter is it's a bank robbery. When you look down to the brass tacks, it's a bank robbery. What do I mean by that? Why are they releasing the criminals? Why do they have the homeless shutting down up in Seattle? Yeah, Seattle prices are going up, right? But eventually those prices are going to go down. And when all those prices go down, all those mom and pops investors who have bought those homes, who aren't collecting their rent money because there's a moratorium on evictions and people just aren't paying. So as mom and pops investors go down, right, the big money guys, the banks will all come in and buy up those assets for pennies on the dollars. All these recessions are created by the Fed bank. It's all a bank robbery, right? When you start looking at it and you start getting in, why are we making it so the people are not collecting the money, the mom and pops, right? Because if I own property, real estate, and I make my own money, I'm not dependent upon the government. I don't really need the government for nothing, right? I make my own money, I make my own food, I make my own this and that. They don't want us to be independent from them. They want us to be to their tips, so that way we have to, everything they tell us to do, you know what I mean? They control our whole lives.
For everyone else that's not maybe business owner, what would you say is the best way to encourage them to move in that direction, to assert their independence from the government?
So that's a hard question, right? Because here's the thing, I can all day say, hey, open your business, right? But I'm not going to have to face that persecution that's going to come from the tyrannical government, right? So the best I can do for them is I can say, okay, well, John, if you open up your business, I'm going to be there to support you, and not just do lip service. I'm going to go there, I'm going to buy from you, right? So constantly what we do for our business is we're always ordering out. We're always ordering from small businesses, even though, even if they don't open, I don't agree with it, and, you can't go in there or something, I still order from small local businesses, so that way I can try to give out the money for Christmas. I went to GameStop, I went to Best Buy, I went to a bunch of other big computer places. They all kicked me out because I wouldn't wear a mask. Right? So I was driving home and my oldest son wanted a brand new video card for his computer. Well, I saw this computer place and you could tell it was a mom and pop store just by the signage, right? Well, I went in there.
Rocking chair on the porch.
Right.
I got you,
So I go in there and the video card my son wants is almost like $200 more. Right? Now, fiscally being responsible, I shouldn't have bought it. But in today's current situations, I went ahead and bought it because I knew that maybe me buying that one graphics card from that store helps him pay the rent that month. Or
so you would say, coming from that, it feels like what you're saying, that markup is almost like an investment. But you're investing into something more than just a business, it's an idea.
It's all God's money anyways, right? God blesses me with money, so by me buying from that small business owner, I'm blessing him with God's money, right? And sometimes, it takes money away. When I go down, I try to give away as much money as possible, just because it's going to come back to you, right? God sees when we're good to others.
And we've seen even on the drive in, like I said, growing up in this town. With friends here that I'm from, playing Babe Ruth. I remember just driving into town was interesting because the first thing you see when you come past, you drive in, you come right over the bridge, and you see Stewart's Meats, clothes sign on the door. I was like, that's crazy. And then
that's a staple.
And then as you come around the corner, there's a huge Walmart that was never there before, and it's packed. Parking lot's packed. And as you're coming into town, you're seeing big business signs everywhere. But I know that I have friends that own businesses in town that their doors are shut right now. And I went to school with the Stewarts, and their doors shut.
You're picking winners and losers,
and that scares me. It scares me to think that right now there's a fear factor. And after talking to the owners of Farm Boys, I was talking to him, and he was like, "Man, I'm facing $56,000 in fines. That's massive.
It's daunting,
and that's scary to think that if you don't have the money coming in already, to have to pay that money on top. That's scary."
So here's a crazy thing, right? So JT Wilcox, who's from Yelm, Washington, or supposedly, right?
Wilcox Farms, right out here in Yelm.
Supposed to be, right? He is the most powerful Republican representative in Washington, right? Elected employee. I think we can all agree upon that, right? He runs the senators, he runs the WSRP, he runs a whole bunch of stuff. Why is he and the rest of the Republicans don't have a roster of lawyers who say if you open your business and they come and they find you, pro bono will defend you free of charge. Are they really for the people? Does JT Wilcox not know lawyers left and right? Right? All these constitutional lawyers that are supposed to be for the people. Think about it. If I'm a lawyer and you get fined, right? And I come out, and lawyers, if you're hearing me, listen up, because I'm going to give you some free advertising on how to blow your business up, right? So you get fined, you say, hey, shit, just like Farm Boy, $56,000 fines, right? And then to pay a lawyer too would be probably $100,000, $200,000 for the law. But if I come and I defend you for free, do I even have to pay for advertising?
Fair play.
I don't even got to pay for advertising, because all the patriots, all the loving Americans out there are gonna be like, that's the lawyer we want to go to because he's defending us.
Plus, you're stepping into headline cases. I mean, those are definitely going to make headlines.
Right. So even if you lose, right, because we know the system's rigged. So people, you guys all grew up. We all got in fist fights growing up, right? We all battled bullies on the playground.
Sure.
And the bully is only strong enough until you punch him in the mouth.
Yep.
And then even if the bully does whoop you, right, he's gonna think twice before he comes for that lunch money.
Absolutely.
Right? Because he's like, shit, I can go get that lunch money from him for free, and he ain't gonna say nothing.
Right.
But he's at least gonna fight back.
That wouldn't happen in Yelm though, because everyone comes solid in Yelm. Yelm comes clinch fist. We're ready to rock and roll.
That's right. Hey, please. I even threw up a Hail Mary when I came in here. I don't want any trouble.
Teams of fighters coming at us.
Yeah.
I'm the best. I'm the best.
No, and it's just, we have to get back to fair across the board. And if our representatives are not fighting for that, it's crazy. When this thing first happened, I wrote a whole bunch of representatives, Bruce Dameyer, all of them, and I said, hey, listen, the number one thing you must do for people is reduce liabilities, right? Because if you don't reduce the liabilities, the pressure from all of the property tax, HOA taxes, food, just everything, right? If you don't give them a chance to live and you don't reduce the property taxes, eventually, if your children are starving, can I blame you if you go out and do something? Right?
They talk about the crimes of necessity type things, as opposed to opportunity, where people that are stealing bread to feed a family, and then you wonder where the real crime is. Is it the fact that someone was starving to a point where they had to steal bread to feed a family, or that they took the bread, and then where else could we have provided that bread? That manna could have come from some other location. And are they provided that opportunity? Are there things that are put in their hands that are saying, hey, here's the tools you need, because your family needs them as well, and we're here to help you as a people. I think people are starving, not just physically, but I think emotionally right now and mentally, for information, and we're looking for resources, we're looking for outlets, we're looking for ways that we can go that aren't going to track us in the direction that we've been coming from, which has been 2020. And I mean, all in the hindsight, I can see what that was.
So when you go through SEER course, right, they'll tell you that you're more likely to survive a hostage situation if what? If you have a higher power.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to.
Right?
I thought it was if you covered the back of your neck.
No.
That's a bear attack. That's a bear attack. And I still don't trust that.
Right?
I'm doing everything they say
so
not to do.
you're more likely to survive if you have a higher power to believe in, right?
Yes.
Because one of our basic necessities is human interaction.
Absolutely.
We have to have that to survive properly. But they're keeping us separated.
Yeah.
They're keeping the churches shut down. They're keeping all the things down that people go to get that human interaction, to get information, to learn, right? And the reason they do that is so that way when they do say, hey, well, if everything goes right, we might let you out of the house.
Sure.
And people are like, okay, give me the vaccine, right? I just want to get out and see the sunshine.
Get head over the horse.
Right? So they're beating us down into submission, into being an indentured servant. It's all one big bank heist. You look at these mass things. Governor Inslee and them, they freaking bought like $1 million contract with China for masks, right? And so you start looking, you got to follow the money.
You guys have heard me say that so many times. If it doesn't make sense, find the money trail and chase that down. Because I know I've seen it just personally with what I do for work. I mean, with janitorial supplies and things of that nature, hand sanitizers, face masks. I mean, couldn't keep it on the shelves.
Yeah.
Let me ask you real fast.
Yes, sir.
I heard you say they. Tell me who they are. Because that's a big question, I think, for a lot of people. I know I've had a lot of people in my community that are like, well, who are they? How can we identify better who they are? I guess better equip ourselves to understand and to manage what we should do about it.
So the enemy is the globalists, right? And that's a broad thing to say, right? There's multiple things in it. One of the huge offenders or enemies of us is the Rothschilds, right? And the banks, right?
We're talking about bank.
We're talking about the bank
already, so
because it's a bank heist, right? Because what's going to happen is when they beat us down and all this stimulus money, right? What they're going to come back around and say is, oh, the country's bankrupt. We need a new system. Well, what system are they going to go to? They've already been putting it out. They're going to try to go to digital currency, right? In Canada, they've already put out there was a press release or something. They're already talking about in Canada, if you're in debt, what they'll do is they'll pay off your debt, but you sign over all your assets. Well, if you don't have any assets, what does that mean?
It's like a payday loan right there.
Right.
You know, that's just like the ultimate, like bait and switch type.
You can live in this house, but it's owned by the government.
Right.
So when you start getting into all these things, they're going to take all your assets and they're going to make everyone an indentured servant. Right. So that way they control every aspect of your life. You basically go and you work for them. You're a serf. You go and you work the fields. Right. Now in Washington State, we know the Democrats. Right. Here's how I look at the Democrat Party. I think 60 to 70% are good people. They just don't understand the secondary and tertiary effects of what they're voting for or the policies they're pushing. Because if you ask them, they say, yeah, I want to be free, I want this, I want that, I believe in God, right? But then they don't understand that when you're voting for the Democrat policies and agenda, you're voting for socialism. And when you vote for socialism, where's God's place in socialism? There is no place. The state is God.
Okay.
Right?
Let me ask you about socialism too. So, because structurally looking at it, and it comes down to, I think, going biblically, even going back, you had like a bishop's storehouse, right? Where it was like people brought in their crops, they tilled the fields, and then they tried to distribute in times of famine. And so it's tough because I've looked at, these different socialist aspects, and I keep thinking like, well, it would be great if people were appropriated the opportunity on an equal scale. But I think one of the things I keep seeing is greed. Greed comes in. And you're never able to equally or evenly distribute anything because there's always somebody that wants more. And sadly enough, there's people that have to control that distribution. And we see a lot of that the migration of money heading that direction, a lot of migration of resources heading towards those people, which is sad because I think we socially can agree that we should all have the opportunities that we each have. And I think that's what America is amazing at.
Correct.
Is that we have the ability to step out there and say, I want to make my best day today. It's going to happen.
That's why we're the shining light on the hill.
And it's tough, man, because you've seen people, and drawing it back around, small business owners, people that have said, I'm going to stake my claim, like you're talking about, to the American way. I'm going to start a business. I'm going to invest my time, my money, my family's faith. We're going to do it.
Yes.
And then somebody puts a boot down and says, hey, but right now you can't do it.
Look at the conversation that's happening right now before the legislative session's about to start. You got the Democrats who are saying, hey, we're so bad in the budget that we're going to have to apply all these taxes. We're going to have to tax the people to get out of this, right? The Republicans, through all this election process, everyone, when I was hearing them talk, they said the number one thing affecting everyone is going to, or affecting the county, is going to be the budget, because we don't have enough money. Now the Republicans are talking about the income has actually been really good. The income projections are really good for the state. Well, who's working? You got government working, you got big business working, and they're talking about the income projections are okay. But us, the common folks, are suffering, right? Those two don't add up. Someone's lying to us, right?
Do you feel, this is, I think, a trick spot, too, where you're at, is because we're moving, I've seen a pivot from it being a lot of people watching the protests, and this anti-government, anti-establishment, anti-capitalism, protests. People that are out there, fighting against it. And then that kind of slowed down and backed up, and now you've got, the other folks that were kind of watching that, now it's coming out saying a lot of the same things. And it's odd to think that, on both sides of the fence, people are kind of looking at the same issue, same problem. And I keep saying this, I've said it several times, everyone can agree on the disease, everyone can agree on the symptoms, but nobody's able to sit down at a table and agree on a cure. Everyone says they got the right answer. You know what I mean? And it's tough because, hey, we have more, everybody has more in common, I think, because it's a human issue, right? It's a human issue.
Yeah.
So that's tough because we're talking about moving away from depending on the government to provide where it's falling short.
and that's the age-old thing, right? There's a movie, if any of your listeners, go watch a movie called Miss Virginia.
Miss Virginia.
Miss Virginia.
Okay.
It's about a lady in Washington, D.C.
Okay.
Her son was in the public school systems, and he was starting to get involved in the gangs and stuff like that. So like any parent would want a better life for her child.
Sure.
So she pulled him out, right? Took him to a private school. Kind of lied on the interview a little bit that she had the money and stuff like that, but she's like, hey, I'm going to go get another job. I'll make it. I'll figure it out, right? To get the child a better education.
Right.
So going through the story, she can't afford it. She has to pull him out of school, but she tells him, I'll get you back there, right? So she goes and gets a second job, and through this time, she meets some representative or something that's in D.C. who's actually involved in doing some of the school stuff. She says, hey, could we, and this is where school vouchers started coming involved, right? And so they started going through the process, the political process, and you start seeing how dirty it is, right? And how people, personal agendas and money-making agendas override the betterment of the people, right? And what they tell at the very end, she meets this congressman who helps her get this bill passed. So now they have school choice where they can get vouchers in D.C. to take certain places. And they put up a number at the very and they never tell which party the people are, right? But it's obviously Democrat. But at the very end of it, they say it costs, the public school system gets more for your child than what it would cost to send them to private school. But yet, in all of our inner cities, the schools are horrible. Well, if they're getting all this money, what's the issue? It's a bank robbery, sir. Look at the teachers' union, the teachers' pay is going up. They protest, we're not doing this, we're not doing that. They hold us hostage. And then they teach us socialism in our schools, right? It's a huge bank robbery.
We're going to have to look into bank robbery, you guys.
Bank robbery.
We've heard that term a couple times now.
That's the key term for 2021. It's a bank robbery, right?
Look into it. Look into it.
That's right. He's going after the bankers, right? Look at how mad they got at Trump when Trump passed that thing where they have to lower the prescription drugs. They actually, a judge ordered that he couldn't enact it because he didn't quite do it the way they wanted him to, right? He didn't give him enough time to debate it and stuff like that. He wanted to lower prescription drug prices. He put in that now if you go to the hospital, they have to show you how much they're going to charge you for a particular thing, right? He's going after all of these industries that have been ripping us off for so long. That's why they hate it. He's taking their money away, giving it back to the people.
I really appreciate you taking the time.
God bless, brother.
Thank you. Here's, you know, I know you got questions. You want to check me out? My platform on there. You kind of come and see where things are and what's going on with things. Oh, great, man. Good looking up.
Yeah. That way, if you ever need me to ramble on a podcast or something,
that just might happen, man. I love talking with you, man. This is great.
Man, I'll sit there with, and just so you guys know, get you one of these brand new 2021 hats. Keep communist and liberal viewpoints from getting inside your brain, right?
Is that what the tinfoil's for?
That's right.
Yep.
A little
got a tinfoil hat on
for you, right?
Get out of here, Tim. That's hilarious, man.
Hey, God bless, brother.
God bless, Take care. Be good, all right? Enjoy. The tinfoil hat. I was going to ask about the hat. Mike, I was going to ask about the hat. He explained it. That's awesome. Get the tinfoil hat.
I was going to ask him to, but you know.
Yeah.
Gotta leave that alone.
That was funny. Man. Man. Where are we at over here? So there's a woman who was talking about the schools. Did she already leave?
I seen you just a second ago. There was another young lady that wanted to speak with you. The one that sang the national anthem.
Oh, yeah. She's right up here.
The national anthem, but so they...
God Save America?
Yeah,
God Bless America?
So I guess the other guy got booted off or something.
Jason? Yeah.
Copyrighted or something like that.
He got feed interruption, man. This happens a lot. Censorship's not no joke, dude. It's real.
Yeah, and so she asked, I gave her one of your cards so she could check you out because she knows.
Was she the one that was talking about schools? I don't know, man. Yeah.
No, this young lady, the one that was singing was.
I'm gonna go grab her real quick. Actually, yeah, I think she was. Let me talk to her real fast. Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can grab her. If you get a chance to let her know, I'll be over there in just a minute. Excuse me. Can I borrow you for a minute here? So my name's CJ. I do a live feed, live TV show, live stream show, and we've been covering a lot of these things. And you were talking about the school systems, and it really piqued some curiosity to me. I'm hoping you could explain that a little more. Do you mind being on? I mean, you're out here, so I figured that you should be okay with it.
Okay.
I'll be out here with you, so you feel comfortable. Just make you feel comfortable. So tell me a little bit about that. You have some really strong opinions about the public school system.
It's not education, it's indoctrination. If you sit with your kids and you really see what they see, it's horrifying. And I learned it years ago. I took my daughter out to homeschool. Now she's turning 15 next week and a junior at PLU, so there's no harm done by homeschooling.
Wow, okay.
Right about them, you're in.
But when she was at community college, she started at Money Star.
Said 15.
She's turning 15 next week. She's a junior.
PLU, so you guys know, Pacific Lutheran University is a college where we went to football camp actually back in the day.
Lovely school. But unfortunately, they've all had this curriculum shoved on them. Even professors and teachers that want to teach something else aren't really allowed to do that.
So who's funneling the curriculum to them that you have such strong opinions?
Well, I can give you an example.
Please do.
So there was a history class at community college.
Okay.
Went on chapter after chapter about Nazi Germany.
Okay.
Of course it should. And of
Big
course
part
it
of
should
history.
talk about the horrors.
Absolutely.
How it happened.
Absolutely.
And it got to the chapters on communism. They didn't discuss that. They didn't talk to the kids about what happened. It was almost like they were considered the good guys in that situation.
The communists?
The communists.
Okay.
The sun rises and sets. So I was appalled. I said, Hitler killed about 18 million people.
Right.
And I'm Jewish. So there's nothing that I get it. How horrible. There's nothing. What the communists killed.
That's bad.
That's bad.
We can all agree that's
we
bad.
We can all agree. The communists killed between 150 to 200 million people
Also bad.
last century. I'd say real bad.
Bad, yes.
In
Very,
fact,
very bad.
I started a Remembrance Day for that because they have Holocaust remembrance, but they don't have communist regime remembrance. But the kids don't hear this stuff. And there's also the subtleties of the victimization of kids. If you're this color, if you're this race, you have less of a chance in life. Every parent, minority, it doesn't matter. Your sexual orientation, none of it matters. You tell your kids, you just keep your nose to the grindstone, you work hard, you can do anything. And you empower them and say there'll be a couple turkeys along the way. You ignore them and you keep going. You don't teach them perpetual victimization.
Do you not feel that there is issues for kids that are coming from inner city schools and kids that are coming from minority situations that are underserved?
Because you want to talk about underserviced. The problem is who created the crappy school systems in the inner cities, not conservatives. So where is the blame? It's in the corruption of the cities. The fact that these corrupt, not always, because we know there's corruption on both sides of the aisle. God knows we've seen that recently more than ever. But it's not Democrat Republican. It's corrupt versus not corrupt. You have corruption on both sides. You have some people, good people, trying to do better for kids that have less advantages, of course, and there's money for them. But if those parents who are desperate to get their kid out of that system can't, they take away the charter school possibility, the choices of, there's no choice. I'm pulling for the minorities. Give them a choice. Let them on merit move to a better school. And then what can we do for the kids that are struggling? I mean, I'm all for all those discussions are on the table. But I don't think any kid should be told you'll never make it in life because you're a certain color. That's the kind of really weird, to try and get people to understand that there might be some disadvantages for certain people. They've actually destroyed their hope. And I think that's sad. And so it's the same thing with the constant identity politics. I mean, they spend more time on that than teaching history and math. And you get to history, I don't know who wrote these books. I mean, I know some are published in Saudi Arabia. They're very derogatory about Jews. They're very derogatory. Everything is a little bit of how America is so awful.
Do you feel that's changed much? Because looking back through my time in school, I was very much in public schools my entire life, including here in Yelm. I don't recall it ever being a leaning history. I don't remember there ever being a real narrative-driven history.
There's a narrative-driven history.
But I guess maybe I don't know. Maybe it's just because you're not aware of it because it's just what you're.
Oh, wait, see what happens
For
next.
12 years is what you're reading.
It's only going to get worse.
So you feel it has changed over.
Oh, absolutely.
What do you think's made the big change? What is a subtle point? What are they working towards?
There's a lot of things that help. They've taken out all countries are flawed. America, although we always considered the most free until now, is flawed. Every country's flawed. Sure. But the premise that we all created equal law used to be, not anymore, but is the greatest, we have the greatest experiment in history. The freest nation, at least it was, to keep saying that. But everything is derogatory about America. Yes, we've done bad things, like we've made mistakes, but we've also done amazing things. Do you know our President Hoover, one other example, he was considered an awful person, a Republican who didn't do enough during the Depression to help people.
Right.
All we ever heard was the Hoover houses, the Hoover huts, the Hoover carts, because he wasn't doing enough to help. Well, he was trying to let it bounce back organically because he didn't want to straddle us with what he did 50 years, what FDR ended up doing, 50 years of socialist policies. And he saw people were hungry, not starving. They weren't in a famine. Meanwhile, he was asked to help in the Russian famine, and he organized the biggest logistics program ever and saved 16 million Russians. That man saved 16 million Russians. He saved more lives than anyone on this planet. Yet the left has put him in history as a loser. And these are the things that Americans can be proud of. We took a starving, famine-ridden Russia. There's a movie, you can watch it on the American series, and it was the Russian famine, Hoover and the Russian famine, something like that.
It's 2 movie references you guys are going to have to check out.
Yeah.
Miss Virginia was the last one.
Well, it's that story.
And it's all about schools, actually, which is interesting.
And, where are those positive stories of what America did to lend a hand, to help? And no one's saying we're perfect. We never said that.
You said something that really, I hadn't heard it that way, and I think it's very interesting, that we're the greatest experiment on the planet. And people, I think, have forgotten that we are a very, very young country.
Very young.
Comparatively, I mean, we've got thousands of years of history and the nations around us.
Well, even what happened here recently, the amount of checks and balances is pretty amazing. The founders almost thought of everything. They even thought of this. The problem was a lot of our corrupt officials decided to abandon the Constitution. The stricter we adhere to the Constitution, the more fair it is for everyone. It's just the way it is. That's what's going to keep it together. Right now, it's a very dark day. But when you understand history, you know that the same things curtailing our rights will eventually curtail the left's rights, the useful idiots' rights that got us into this situation. And eventually they will rise up too, and eventually we will take the country back. And that's just because we know this from history, but it's a dark day.
I think that one of the things that, like what you're talking about, is wildly significant right now. That we were talking earlier, is that right or left, up or down, doesn't matter where you're at. Like, if they'll do it to one, they'll do it to all.
That's the
and
thing.
if it could happen to somebody,
it
could happen to everybody.
I consider myself a class of people.
Okay.
Not what they call themselves liberal now. That's not liberal. That's progressivism, communism. I'm a classical liberal. Like, I want you to be able to say what you want. I want Antifa to be able to say what they want.
Absolutely.
I want everyone to, because without your voice, you've got nothing.
It's the freedoms of our nation that make us great.
I will defend.
Absolutely.
Do you know I'm a Jewish woman who was called a very derogatory word for that? It was a K word at a rally the other day.
I was there and I heard it.
Fascist nut.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's really a fascist or a plant because they like to.
There's a lot of
but
you guys. If you didn't see it in Olympia, there was a guy that was the redheaded dude.
Oh, everybody was on his case. I mean, nobody wants to hear that.
Nobody wants to hear that.
I'll tell you when he called me boomer.
I saw that too. I was very confused.
I'm an Xer.
He's like, I'm not talking to a boomer, and I was like, whoa, man. My mom's a boomer. She's a great lady.
Yeah, that's a bridge too far.
Yeah.
But I give him his right to say that. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
Right.
But if I take his right away, I'm taking my right away.
Thank you.
So
Absolutely.
it's not about Democrat and Republican anymore. That's long over. We have, I've said this for years, both sides of the aisle are bought and paid for.
Yeah.
So a Democrat's policies are no longer, it's not going to matter. It's what the powers that be want to have happen here.
Sure.
They'll find that out. They didn't learn before. They didn't learn the last 12 times this was tried.
Yeah.
So they're not going to learn until it hits them.
People need to stop looking at politics and start looking at the people's policies and like what's really going to affect positive, productive change for the people.
Well, everyone's pulling for their own policies.
Sure.
But we all put blinders on. If there's a guy that we want because he wants to push our policies, we tend to turn a blind eye to his either moral fiber or this or that. We all knew what Trump was. We think he was an outsider, which is why we voted for him. Not that he was an unflawed human. Everybody knew he was a flawed human.
Right.
We just wanted someone outside the beltway because we were sick of the corruption. People don't get that. They think he's our leader. Like we don't think for ourselves. Like, honey, we were,
Well, not everybody has taken your stance though, because I've been to Trump rallies. I've tried to go to as many rallies as possible, all the way over to, Wisconsin and around the nation. A lot of the people that I've talked to, I've asked, like, well, what you've said a lot of great things about Trump. What are some things about Trump that you would change? Like, nothing. He's perfect. And I have to pump my brakes. I'm like, whoa, let's go ahead and appreciate that there's always going to be productive change, and I would hope that our nation's leader would be like, hey, here's where I can make change.
You got to have blinders on, not seeing that he's flawed. Everyone. We laugh and say, oh, I can't believe he said. Here's the difference between the people who hate him and the people who like him. We know what he meant, and they take every word literally as some sort of
my goodness.
context and meaning. I can tell you a million of them that they flat out lied to these people. If I thought the president had actually put down a disabled person, I would be horrified.
Right.
But I had seen 30 other rallies they did, and he made that gesture every time he talked about a stupid person or a person who didn't remember. He made the same gesture.
Right.
The media tells, oh, he said this about a disabled man. And what it all started with was a distraction from the fact that reporter lied about a celebrity.
So where were you in Virginia?
I lived on the East Coast, and they were chanting. There were Muslims in New Jersey up on the rooftops celebrating 9/11. It was on my news that night. I saw it with my own eyes.
Right.
Trump brought it up. They called him a liar. The reporter that did the story, I don't remember. That's what he was saying.
Right.
So we had seen 30 other rallies. We had seen the context of that mannerism done many times for many different people. So you're a Democrat. You're only watching CNN. You see that and go, how horrible. Of course. If I thought he was actually disparaging a disabled person, I would think that was horrible too.
Right.
So now, meanwhile, I'm not going to.
That would be like, that if you're a Republican, I would hope that.
Perfect. I mean,
as everybody, and just to be clear, when she was making a reference, she's not identifying me as a Democrat or a Republican.
No. I don't know what you are.
Yeah.
But I will
Humanitarian.
say, there's all different, everyone on the spectrum. But the thing is, I was about to say is we may have differences in what we want to see happen policy-wise.
Sure.
But we should all be united in rooting out corruption. Your guys, my guys, and when a Republican pulled crap, I complain about that as much as a Democrat.
Right.
I'd like to see the left doing that more. I'd like us to not ever just put our blinders on and say, well, we like what he's saying, so we're going to look past all this stuff. I don't mind calling out people on my own side, but at this point, it's a past party. It's just corruption, pure, unadulterated corruption.
I think that you settle on the side of just people, and I think that's a big
I'm on
deal.
the side of people to be free, and I'd love to see them loving and respectful.
Absolutely.
But more importantly, free. And if someone's going to yell a racial slur at me like they did the other day, I say they have a right in America to do that. And I'll defend that man's right to the death as long as he doesn't do anything violent or anything.
My hope in that same exact scenario, which would transfer and make its way into all different aspects of life and all different groups, is that the group around that person would hold them to a higher standard.
Well, everybody there was screaming at the guy.
And that's the thing that I saw there too, was people are like, dude, you need to get out of here. Like, you do not represent.
Everyone
and as
said
I was watching it happen, I was like, all right. And I hope that in every group we can all. And I
weed out your own.
Exactly.
If you're there and you're peacefully marching in a Black Lives Matter group, which many of them started off very peacefully.
I've been to tons that have
they
been
were fine,
incredibly uplifting.
But they got hijacked by lunatics, and instead of saying knock it off, and they're burning down black people's businesses. I couldn't believe people didn't say stop that. It's you gotta police your own, clean up your own house, and by all means protest whatever you want peacefully. But there's some things where there's lines. You hold your ground. No, I will not voluntarily submit to a mandated vaccine. You're going to have to arrest me. You're going to have to do this and that. But I'll stand my ground.
Yeah.
I'm not going to kill somebody over it, but I'm going to stand my ground. And if Americans just stand their ground, That's what we're going to have to do. But it's going to be ugly. It's going to be ugly, but we'll see. I've had elections where it was lost before, and we shed a tear, and we thank God for checks and balances because we know that president doesn't have carte blanche. There's a Senate, there's a House, and there's a court. When the Senate is stolen, and the presidency is stolen, and the courts are packed with activists, not people reading the Constitution, that's when it gets scary. There's no checks and balances. I always like that there were checks and balances on both houses because whoever is in charge then isn't, a dictator. They have check. But I don't see that. That's the scariest part of all this. There's a lack of checks and balances. And that's pretty scary kind of power. And frankly, I have no doubt, and it has been proven on many levels, that the election was stolen. So where are we now? It's going to be tough. But with history, let's bring it back to the beginning. You'll see the patterns continue, and you know where it's going to go. And that's the beauty of history. It
It's
just
like a
repeats.
40-year thing, right? It
Just
seems like the
repeats.
pendulum, as we talked about before, swings every 40 years. So like radical
Little
opposites.
difference than all those other countries, and there were some amazing people trying to stand up to this over the years. Thank God for people like that. Americans are a little bit different breed, so let's just hope that they haven't over the years become so complacent or what is the word? You said it become so pacifistic.
Subdued.
Yeah, subdued. But I think there will be a line for every individual. Maybe the line is taking their gun, maybe the line is sticking a needle in their arm, maybe the line, we don't know. But we'll have to make those decisions I got a group here.
No, hey, thank you for your time. I really do appreciate it. I'll give you one of my cards so if you want to check out.
Thank you so much.
Know who you're talking to, and kind of come see what's going on. Thank you very much. Take care. Hey, let me do this real quick. You can step over here in front if you'd like. That'd be great. Chit chat for a minute. Great. All right, take care.
I'm a nobody. You know what
Are you going down there?
Let me make sure I can see you in here. There we go. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Fantastic. Beautiful voice.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it was amazing.
I've been singing since I was 12.
It sounds like.
Sang professionally with a professional Christmas caroler.
You are a professionally Christmas caroling individual.
Yes.
That's
It was fun. We dress up in Victorian and have fun.
See, I dress up in Victorian gear too, but it's for totally unrelated reasons. No, I'm kidding. So talk to me a little bit about what brings you out today. Are you from Yelm?
I am not.
Okay.
I did live in Frederickson, which is in between Puyallup and Spanaway, for about 10 years. I was born in Tacoma. I spent 20 years in the military, came back home, and now I'm currently living in King County.
Okay. For your service?
The evil King County, but we're working to change that.
Hey, it's I just moved from Seattle proper, so I'm still in the area, but it's.
So you understand.
It's been interesting. It's been very interesting. Things have definitely been spicy for the last year. It's been very interesting.
Yeah.
What's your take on it? So again, I asked, what brought you out today? Yeah.
I came out here. First of all, because my friends put this on, and they asked me to sing, so I came out to sing. But I strongly believe in opening up the economy.
Sure.
Unfortunately, they want to keep it closed, supposedly to keep the infection of COVID down. But COVID's here.
Yeah.
It's going to stay here. It's not going anywhere. It's probably going to mutate to something else. But we deal with that kind of stuff all the time. And closing down the economy is not the way to deal with it, because now you're affecting people's ability to work and make money to feed their family and keep a roof over their heads. And what you're in, we're getting a lot of people. We've got kids that are depressed. People are committing suicide. The cure is worse. The cure is worse than the disease, right? So we need to open up our economy.
I got some. Okay, here's some things that have come up, and you may not have the answers, but the questions that I've had is, and some of the things that have been brought up today and keep coming up are things like major businesses are sweet. Walmart's, Home Depots, Costco's, they're all doing just fine. You can still go in there and buy food in their food establishments.
Yep. They have better lobbyists.
Yeah.
They write those $2,000 checks.
Well, and here's the thing that I wonder about is that this right there, that change in elevation, somehow at one point was stemming the spread of COVID. If you wear a mask when you walk into a restaurant, you're good. But it's like when you sit down, you can take it off because now you're safe.
It's ridiculous.
And there's all these things
it's
where
unscientific.
and I don't get it. And that's where I have issues.
It's because there's nothing to get. It's unscientific.
So what do you feel is the big pushback from people when they say, I see people in my comments that will say like, hey, open small businesses. No, just follow the rules and we'll get over this.
Right, follow the rules. Wear your yellow star. Get on that boxcar. We have seen this before. We, the people, need to stand up for our rights and our right to be free. and have your business. We've already acquiesced to a lot of regulations, you know, and I get it. Some of those are really needed to make sure that, you know, you're not getting tainted food and things like that. I get that part. However, for the government to come in and say, well, Costco can stay open, but mom and pop grocery store can't. That is capricious and arbitrary and wrong and unconstitutional. And now I don't own one of these businesses, so I'm not in the position of getting those fines. But I would like to think that if I did, I would stay open and I would not pay those fines, and I'd find myself a lawyer and I'd sue the crap out of the state for infringing on my civil rights.
And that, I think, touching on a point that I think is big, I think one of the biggest problems that I've seen from people is the right to choose. Like
Exactly.
They've said, we don't feel that you're responsible enough to make decisions for your own health.
Right.
And I think that's one of the things that a lot of the people that I've talked to, business owners especially, have said, if you don't want to come to my establishment because you don't want to shop my business because of whatever reason,
Right.
maybe you don't agree with my policy,
Right.
or just the fact that people are here, you don't have to.
Exactly.
And then for people that are very strong, they've said, one of the gentlemen I talked to the other day was saying that if you're that incredibly terrified about the virus, you don't even need to leave your home.
Yeah.
You can order your toothpaste,
Right.
your toothbrush, your toilet
Exactly.
paper, and your macaroni and cheese
Yeah.
online,
Exactly.
and Amazon would be happy to give you the business or take the business. And
There
but you
are
don't get a chance
there are
to
other
choose.
ways to get your stuff too besides Amazon. Just saying.
I'm just
But you
I
know,
was being more facetious
what's
than anything.
interesting though is the Bezos of the world, the online people, they're making bank.
Sure.
While little mom and pop stores going under, while these little restaurants are going under.
How do you feel? I'm just confused. I know I have a friend that owns a restaurant in town here. Small business, a small restaurant. And much like Farm Boys earlier, and I'm trying to better understand this all myself.
Right.
That's why I tell everybody I'm on a self-educational journey, which is what I've been doing for the last year. And if it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense.
Exactly.
You know, and even on situations with the masks and everything that's happened, like on airplanes, and for the longest time I worked, the cut-off sleeve of a shirt, a cotton sleeve, and I would just pull it up as a gator.
Right.
Like, oh, you're good, you're safe. You've just saved a life.
You've just saved a life.
And I've had to
Oh my
tell
gosh.
people, I was telling people the other day, I almost got thrown off an airplane by the air marshal. Like they were going to land a plane because my mask slipped down while I was sleeping, and I had an exchange, and I was like, listen, it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
And they wanted to make me wear one of their masks, and I was like, no.
You know what I wore
The
on
one
my
I've been
trip?
wearing for the last 10 months.
I just wore this little teeny chiffon thing, which isn't going to stop a virus, but neither do those cloth masks.
But it has the aesthetic that you're
It's
now.
virtue
you're
signaling.
applying
That's all
effort.
it is.
And what scares me is that we're at a point now where people really are suffering. I've talked to people that have flat out, they've gone out of business.
Yeah.
They've had to move in with family,
Right,
or
right,
they've taken out personal loans,
Yeah.
they've taken out mortgages on their homes. And like we were talking to a gentleman earlier, and it's almost like this bait and switch thing, like he was talking about in Canada. They're like, oh, well, here's what we're going to do. Like, you don't have to worry about anything as long as you sign over your assets to us. We'll go ahead and afford you the opportunity to live here for free.
No, I don't like that at all.
And it scares me to think that, and what I've seen with these reopen rallies is that people are just afraid. They're
Yeah.
afraid of, they don't have, like you said,
Yep.
the resource
They're
to say, I'll
fear-mongering.
fight
Exactly.
a $9,000 a day
Right.
penalty.
Well, and that's a good thing, is because we do have some lawyers that are helping and representing these small businesses pro bono. That's free.
Is there anyone that you could shout out? off the top of your
Yeah,
head?
I think it's Selinsky out of the Tri-Cities area.
Okay.
And, we need more patriotic lawyers that believe this is unconstitutional, that will help these businesses fight this in court. Now, with a corrupt judicial, I don't know how that's going to work, but we still need to fight. And I would say just don't pay those fines, because those fines have been based on an unconstitutional, capricious, and arbitrary regulation, and it's not even a law. So when people say, oh, it's the law, no, it's not the law. The legislature makes the law. That's it. And I have a degree in forensics, and so I spent a lot of time in science classes. And, when they started coming out with, oh, wear this mask, wear this little mask, and I'm just like, are you serious? I mean, a virus is so tiny.
I get that because I watch a lot of CSI.
Yeah.
So I kind of know my stuff too.
Yeah.
I'm
So, that's more drama. But yeah, I don't care for those shows. But the point is, the weave of the cotton masks, the chiffon, whatever mask you're wearing, unless it's specific. Because I've worked in a lab where we've had the hoods, we've had the hood and the all the
full-on hazmat
BSI
suit,
stuff,
yeah.
exactly. And and I dealt with some pretty nasty organisms, and I'd put my lab coat in a plastic bag and take it home and wash it in hot water and bleach. I would, make sure that when I left the lab, I scrubbed. I mean, we only had to scrub up to our elbows. I'm scrubbing up to my shoulders. I'm like, I don't want to take anything home to my family.
Yeah.
So what really bothers me is this guilting of, if you don't wear a mask, you want to kill grandma. That is bull crap. That is just garbage.
'Cause everybody knows you just shove her.
Yeah.
We've all seen Life Alert.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. We don't want to hurt
No, no. But the whole thing is they're using public shaming, they're using virtue signaling, they're using fear mongering to control us. I will not be controlled. You can ask my parents about that. Growing up, they never controlled me.
That's okay,
They tried.
folks.
They tried.
You produced a professional Christmas caroler. So something went right. Something went right. You did a good job.
Exactly.
You did a good job.
Exactly. I do love singing and music. But that's another thing. Jay Inslee told us we can't sing. Kiss my butt. I'm gonna sing. You can't stop me from singing.
What do you mean you can't sing?
He put out some rules that we cannot sing. Like, you can't go to church and you can't sing. That a lot of times that is part of a person's religion, is singing and worshiping God. So I organized.
Oh, that's because if you project your voice, you're projecting particles.
Virus. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And
wow.
and I've been out in a lot of these rallies and stuff, and I had to take a test to fly, and of course it came out negative. I knew it would, but they're just trying. Oh well, you could pass it if you don't have. I don't have the virus. I know I don't. The point is, when they said we can't sing, I organized a Christmas caroling caravan, and we sang from Everett all the way down to Olympia, and we made stops, and we had a Santa Claus that was not masked and let the kids sit on his lap, and they were so excited.
Did you get a lot of grief for that?
No, not at all. But in fact, we got a lot of people saying, thank you for being here. My kids were so disappointed they couldn't see Santa, because you've got these people, I'm sorry, but I think they're kind of cowardly. And I get, if you're elderly, you might be at more of a risk, but you got these people dressed up like Santa Claus standing behind plexiglass with a double mask and a face shield. Are you serious?
Would that happen? I didn't.
Oh yeah, that's happening all.
That would
terrify.
Kids are already afraid of Santa Claus, but if you put him in like a plastic cage,
yeah, exactly.
it almost makes him like a scary figure.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
I would be terrified of a man with a big beard lurking behind a plastic box.
Exactly.
Get closer to the wall, kid.
Exactly.
Like that would terrify me.
So
Sorry.
we did Christmas
Scares me
carols.
thinking about it.
We had Christmas cookies for everyone. We had little candy canes to give out to the individually wrapped candy canes to give
More
to
like
the kids.
COVID canes.
COVID
Thanks a lot.
Canes. I know, right? They were individually wrapped. Okay, we did take some precautions, and
Sure.
and then people who showed up with masks, we didn't shame them for wearing masks. They can wear it if they want. Sure. We don't know what everybody's health issues are.
Absolutely. People wear masks year round and have been since before COVID.
Exactly.
But that should be something you should be able to choose to do. And if it protects you, you hear people joke, like, well, if I'm not wearing a mask, but you feel comfortable, wear two, and then you're safe. But I mean, I saw an advertisement for like a personal, like, half hazmat suit where you can put it on, and it covers everything here, but you can jog in it, and you can put your hands in there, and it has a little pouch where you
Hey,
can
if people want it, you know what? I'm all
like,
for capitalism. If you want to buy that, go right ahead.
And I was like, if you want to take super precaution, go ahead. But if
well, you know what? We do not live in a plastic bubble. There are plenty of things that could kill us.
Mike used to live in one. No, I'm kidding.
Truth.
But I mean, are we going to say no? We're going to ban cars because people get killed in a car accident? Right. Are we going to ban alcohol because people drink too much and get alcohol poisoning, or kill their liver, or get an accident? We've already tried that, and that didn't work out so well. But life is risk, and freedom is risk, and I would prefer the dangerous liberty to being a slave any day. I will take that any day. I'm a free person. I don't ask permission for my freedoms. The freedoms that are guaranteed to us in the Constitution are not given to us by government. It's given to us by God or natural rights, whatever you want to believe. But the government doesn't give us those rights. And anyone who thinks the government gives us those rights, you need to read the Constitution. Because it doesn't. It guarantees us that the government will not infringe on those rights, which they haven't been doing a very good job. So we need to demand our freedom, expect our freedom, and vote accordingly, and get involved in however you can get involved. And I tell people all the time, like, I'm in King County, Washington, that's where Seattle is, and that's probably one of the butts of the joke of the state, for fraud and corruption and everything, but I'm doing what I can to change it in Seattle, in the Seattle area. So I just encourage everyone to get involved and hold your electeds accountable.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I appreciate you taking the
Yeah,
time.
no
Thank
problem.
you
It's
so
nice
much.
talking to you. Thanks for being out
I'm
here.
gonna hand you a card here so
Okay,
you know
great.
what's going on. If
Great.
you want to come in and check out
Awesome.
the feed, it'll be up later. But,
All right,
Yeah,
great. Well, thanks it was nice meeting you guys.
yeah likewise.
All right, take
yourself,
care, everyone.
And Merry late Christmas to all
Oh,
your
yeah,
caroling
Happy New Year.
associates. Likewise.
Be free.
Happy New Year.
Oh, we're getting low on battery power here, which is a good thing I brought my backups. Man, Mike, I got to tell you, my toes are frozen, bro. And we are officially last man standing here.
Yes, we are.
Take a little pan around.
We got Mr. Kyle over at the White Horse.
Oh, yeah?
So he said we could come on through if you'd like to give him an
Let's do it.
interview and talk about what's going on with him and
Let's do it.
all that fun stuff.
Yeah,
So
all right,
we can
cool.
Totally do that.
So let's we're gonna bop on over to a local business here. As you can see, everyone's gone at this point. So I might. Well, I'll tell you what, guys. I got to charge the phone for a minute here. So I'm gonna go ahead and hop in the car. I'm gonna follow you. And,
Right across the street.
It's right across the street. Yeah.
Yeah, you're actually pointing it at the camera right behind that green house.
Yeah,
is,
that's right. The White Horse right in the
yeah,
corner,
right
right?
there. That's where
That's
it's
right.
at.
What happened to the skate park, man?
It got moved to the left side over there.
Is
See
it?
them all the kids over there?
I don't.
Right here to
Oh,
your
there we
left.
go.
There you go.
Man.
Yeah, they
Skate
moved it
park's
all.
still there. That's awesome.
Yeah. Moved it all around.
All right. So I'm going to go ahead and, actually, I'm going to cut out for a second here, guys, and then I'm going to come back on over here at the White Horse in Yelm. So I'll be back in just a few minutes, guys. So thanks for bearing with me for a little bit. Stay tuned. I'll be back. Or maybe I'll just stay running. Screw it. I'll just stay running, guys. You're just going to have to deal with me. I'm going to charge. This is Mike, local Yelm.
What's up, guys?
And he's rocking like the most decadent of American regalia.
What can I say?
Keeping that cowboy fit.
Actually, it only works if I put these ones on.
Oh, wow.
There we go.
Wow, look at that. Steve Phillips, eat your heart out.
Eat your heart out, Steve Phillips.
I'm going to say bye to Jason here real quick, y'all. Ooh-wee. As we walk. Sorry to hear about your feed, bud. Oh, you got him. Okay. Get out of here. They're indestructible. Anyone says something's indestructible to me, I want to try to break it immediately. That's like the first thing you want to do. Is like, yeah, right. And then I'm the guy like, well, it wasn't supposed to do that. It wasn't
They
supposed
said if you can manage to break that somehow, send them a picture and they'll send you a new one.
Oh!
They're like, tell us how the hell you managed that.
Well, there's this guy, CJ. He's kind of a jackass. And I said it's indestructible. And what happens? He destructs. That's awesome. I'm telling you, man. That's a monopod right there. Yeah, it is threaded already, dude. You can mount I can mount this on there right now.
We'll see.
Let me see that.
Need to get a sheath.
Yeah, dude, you can monopod that, no problem. We're talking about some equipment, self-defense equipment, but it's also audio-visual equipment. So this day and age, you got to stay prepared. Wear your shoes in the shower.
They blocked me for Carrie singing
Yeah.
from uploading my video at the end.
Yeah.
They've blocked
Censorship.
me from advertising because I was going to promote the event.
Mm.
And they've blocked me from all monetization. And they said they've limited my audience.
I wonder how they choose who they limit the audience to.
And if you watch my stuff, all I do is film. I don't comment. I don't.
You better start
interview.
commenting.
I just show people what's happening.
People should see what's happening, man.
And apparently they don't want people to see what's happening.
I don't know, man. My toes are froze, man. Hey, we're going to head across the street over here and talk to local business here for a little bit.
All right.
Sorry to hear about the feed, brother. But get a hold of me. We'll link up this week. Okay, cool. That was another independent individual of the media. Sorry, man. I got to boop. Wait for it. There we go. Technologies, guys. I'm moving in the right direction, I think. Man, got cold quick. So we are, like I said, we're gonna bob over here to a local establishment. Been here forever, and maybe they got some food. I'm starving too. It'd be good to go inside if we can go inside. I know that. We'll let the owner of the White Horse over here talk about what he's doing to stay in business. maintain revenue and pay his bills. That's just down the street over here, though. See the Yelm water tower back there. Maybe I don't want to get hit by a car. Can't just be gallivanting out into the street. Oh my gosh. Woo-wee. How's everybody doing? Sorry, I was out in front. I didn't get a chance to see any comments. Not that I, they were listening. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Why is it? Oh, hey, Kim, how are you? Whew. Yeah, I don't know why everyone's such a critic. I do the best I can. I don't know if you're talking about me, but Julie, how are you? What's up, everybody? It's good to see some folks in here. Some familiar. I can't even talk. My jaw is frozen. Whew. So which way does he naturally lean? Patzilla05 over on Twitch. I lean towards the policies, the things that I feel are going to benefit the people. And I do everything I can to make sure that I listen to every voice out there. As many people as possible, Democrat, Republican, independent, anywhere in between. I definitely try to spread it out. And I don't always get every side, but it's just because, I'm, it's just tough to get every side. When I say I agree, it's because there's things that I agree with. And, me being unbiased, I can walk into things as best I can. But I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to go ahead and feel things as I'm out here. So, yes, I do wear a seatbelt when I'm in the car. I know that's a setup for something else, though, Eric. But, and if I feel some way about it, I'm not going to not say it because, my name's on the screen here. So, there you go. CJTV is going to have some CJTV thoughts. So, that's how it goes. Yeah, feel free to contact me if there's something you feel would be important to cover or, you'd like to see, get some information out on, whatever. But where are we at over here? Ellen, you said that right. You can't please all the people. Some people are just going to be mad that I'm not asking the questions they'd like me to ask or, directing the attention how they would like me to direct it. But I respect all people. I appreciate it. Even if you don't appreciate me, it is what it is, I'm just a dude, it's totally cool. If you guys if anybody doesn't want to be here at all, there's a million other streams you could watch or other broadcast opportunities on a Saturday afternoon. So I do not discourage anybody from did I say something about turning over all my assets? They were talking about Canada. That was what one of the business owners was talking about earlier, about some of the things they're trying to do in Canada. And I think basically what he was leaning on was that if you turn over your assets, that they would like you can live in the house for free as long as we own it. We're not going to charge you, but it's our property. And so that's, he was saying that's a scary thought. Ooh. Whoop. There we go. I got to plug this phone in for a minute here. And I got to plug in this gimbal for a second, guys. So bear with me for a brief moment here while I try to... There we go. Did it work? Yeah, okay. And then... All right, where are we at over here? Let me plug this in as well. Batteries, man. All non-stop, just battery charging at all times. So... Man, it's funny to see how conversations change in the chat. Wow, so Sandra, is that Sandra? It's hard to see the blue. You gonna burn it? Oh, yeesh. Some strong, strong thoughts from Sandra. But how things, more. Because here we're talking about reopening small businesses. And I think people naturally are just kind of on focus for different topics. And so it'll go to like Kyle Rittenhouse, or it'll go to a myriad of different things. And so it's tough to get people on track. And really all I'm doing here, and if you don't know, maybe now you'll know, is trying to get some questions answered for myself, and hopefully giving chances to people to just kind of speak, tell their stories, and hear what people have to say. And that's, I think, what it's really all about. I don't have all the answers, so there. See, why do I wear my seatbelt? Personal choice, force of habit. I don't know, course of routine. But again, I don't have all the answers. Don't pretend to. Wouldn't even allude to the notion that I do have all the answers. But I would hope that people that are much smarter and more informed than I will be able to speak, and everyone viewing will have a chance to see that, hear that, and in doing so, get a chance to better formulate their opinions and views on things. And that's really what it comes down to, is educated understanding, not ignorant angst, which is what I deal with from a lot of people sometimes. Which is sad, because the passing of judgment is interesting, because I literally do everything I can to try to help people as best I can. But it's funny, if you don't say everything exactly how you should say it, for some people to hear it, immediately, you're a terrible human being. So, like someone said, you can't please all people all the time. But I love people, and to be very clear about everything that's happening out here, I love people. And it sounds lame, but I'm going to say that several times because it's very true. Like, I have a huge soft spot for people that are disadvantaged, and I always have, and people that I have been dealing with oppressed issues, no matter where you live, here or abroad. I mean, they affect. And so right down the line, if you find me leaning in a direction where that's something that I start talking more towards, or pushing in that direction, then yeah, it's because it's something that personally I feel strongly about. So but I hope that you guys see that as I'm out here doing what I do, this is exactly what I do. It's who I am, and so I'm doing my best to figure it out, doing my best to be the best I can be. So let's hope that we can keep collectively moving in that direction. So I gotta try to find parking here. Looks like this place is doing okay. Oh, we got the outdoor dining going. Looks like there's a lot of folks out there. Are the Hawks playing right now? What? Did I not know this? Man, get out of here. I think the Seahawks game's going in the background at the bar that I'm going to be stopping at here. So that's a win-win. All right. Now here's the thing. Going into this bar restaurant here, I don't know how many people want to be on camera. So I'm just going to go ahead and say that I might end up having to cut the feed for a little bit until I get to a spot where I can actually sit down and talk to the business owner. But we're going to find out here in just a minute. I'm going to go ahead and let this charge up for 2 seconds. And we find out from Kip. What's up? Kipster. I don't know, Cheza. I see comments being deleted that are just sharing their opinions. The way those people CJ was interviewing were sharing theirs. Cheza, what do you want me to do about it? I don't know. I personally don't have anything to do with comments. But if my people, and I put all my faith in my mods, feel that are being disrespectful or whatnot, then I will. So what's up? There's a ton of people out there.
There's a bunch of people here watching the Seahawks game.
Yeah.
You can do an inside one. You could do an outside one. You can, if you want to.
Are people inside? Because I was going to say, I'm sure a lot of people may not want to be on camera. I don't want to just sit there.
No, everyone has to be outside because of Inslee's orders right now.
Sure.
So basically, the inside, people come in and grab drinks, but you could do an inside interview with them, so there's not a lot of noise.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That's what we'll do. Noish. All right, I'm going to grab my stuff and get out here. All right. Okay, Chaz. All right, well. People's comments are getting deleted. I don't know. Whatever. My comments get deleted a lot, but it's my fault, says Matt. Well, all right, Matt. No, that's not Mike the Horse Whisperer. That was Zach the Horse Whisperer, you guys. Let me grab this here. Oops, not the whole thing. So, I drive a Ford. A Ford is what I drive. All right. Okay. It's your page, right? Yeah, you got that right, Eric. There it is. Yeah, so well played. You guys, and here's the issue: if people have problems with the comments, turn them off. You don't have to look at them. I mean, it's real simple. You know, right down the pipe, you guys. It's a real simple situation that if you don't like what you're looking at, turn it off. So I say that all the time. And if you don't like me, I'm sorry. You don't have to. But oh man, what are you gonna do? You know, you don't have to. Sometimes I don't like myself, y'all. But I'm trying to love myself. You know? Yeah, swipe right. There you go, Pam. Swipe right. That's all you got to do. Keep it real easy. I do it all the time. Trust me. All the time. All right, cool. We're walking now. So when I'm looking down here, I'm kind of trying to check out the comments as well. And so I don't really follow Alex Jones. Though I have seen a lot of his stuff lately, as of late. That's a slick Harley. Ooh-wee. Oh shit! Clothesline myself right there. CJ. What up, boss? What's up, man? Let me put this in my pocket. How are you doing? Man. Hey, you might have set up inside?
Yeah, that's fine.
That'd be awesome, man. I'll walk in there. Oh, Hawks. There we go. Oh, you did? Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Sorry, guys. The feed's going to be a little wonky for a second until I get this set up. Woo. And there we go. Oh, wait. Good. Just sitting down right over here. Is that good?
That'll work.
Cool, man. Appreciate you. I'm going to do this real fast, get this set up. I got to screw this on here and then... Bear with me for a second, guys. There we go. We're getting there. It's all part of the technology of it all. I got to get my batteries charged while we're doing this, so just bear with me for 1 second while I get this.
Oh, I have a brick over here.
I got one right here in my bag, actually. Appreciate that. There we go.
Let me know. I know.
So, guys. There we go. Yeah, grab a seat, man. I'm going to plug this all in real quick. Make sure I can see you there.
I'll shut up. Let be in the picture.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. And there we go. Cool, man. Let me throw my battery pack up here real quick. Man, it got cold out there.
Getting interviewed or something?
Yeah. By the world famous CJ TV.
Maybe we'll be back. So this is the only
Boom. We should be cooking with grease now, man. Maybe Mike, you can tell me if you can see us both. Should be able to.
Yes, sir. Good.
Awesome.
Perfect, guys.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Let me read this real fast. Sorry, no indoor seating or drinking or eating by order of the fucking governor. You guys can check out Nick Cage on his new Netflix special to understand the intricacies of the word fuck. Pardon my language. Who would have ever thought they'd see this day and become illegal to drink in a bar? Who knew? How you doing?
Digging in there.
All right. Introduce yourself. Who are you? What are we doing? Where are we at?
My name's Kyle Phillips.
I might have to talk a little loud just so everyone knows.
Owner of White Horse Tavern here in Yelm.
Right.
Barely surviving these days.
Yeah. Now you've been around. How long has White Horse been here?
I renamed it White Horse in 2010 when I bought it.
Okay. But before that, it was
Wayne's Pub for a couple of years, and It was Mikey's Pub for about 10 or 12 years before that.
But this has been a local like watering hole for 1992. This place has been a go-to spot for folks to come, have a libation, release some stress, play pool with this guy right here possibly. Well, not right now, because obviously
everything. Of course, we had to shut down the day before St. Patrick's Day in 2020. That's usually one of the biggest nights for a bar.
Yeah, absolutely.
Next to New Year's Eve and Cinco de Mayo, Halloween. Those are the 4 big holidays that put money in the bank, so you can buy new bar stools or new TVs or whatever you need to do.
So you get those are like those quarterly bonuses almost that help kind of help you front track.
It's a good influx for the bar. But,
sure.
Of course, we only thought it was going to be 2 weeks. The governor said stay home. Only essential businesses like pot shops and coffee shops and liquor stores were able to stay open. So we had to close down.
It's funny you mentioned pot shops, liquor stores. And what was the last one you said?
Coffee stands.
Coffee stands. Because you do see places like McDonald's lying around the block, but you can't go into your gym. And it's funny, I was talking to a fitness coordinator and he was like, it's terrible. You can eat as much fast food as you want, but you're not allowed to go to the gym and get on the treadmill. But so you can go to a liquor store and buy all the booze you want, but you can't come in here and get a pint. Did you take it? How did you feel like when were you preparing yourself for that mandate to come down, or did you take it serious right up front?
We were pretty blindsided by it, but yeah, we just strictly shut down because we weren't allowed to open at all.
Right.
And I would say maybe a month later, the governor says, well, you can do to-go food.
Right.
Well, we don't have a big kitchen. We just do in-house dining.
Sure.
To-go containers is impossible because they're flying off the shelf at every...
It was like finding toilet paper or hand sanitizer. You know, they were both gone.
So there was the struggle with that. The liquor board had relaxed the rules where we can sell sealed airline bottles to go.
Okay.
Well, people come to the bar to drink and socialize. They're not going to go to the bar to buy a beer and take it back home and spend twice as much as the grocery store.
Did you feel nervous about that? Because it seems like you'd be setting yourself up for some liability issues as well. If somebody gets overserved at a bar, a lot of times they can come back to the bar and say, "Hey, the reason I crashed my car is because of the bar."
That didn't really have much.
Kind of a cool thought, that kind of a prohibition vibe to it. It almost takes. It's scary to think.
Studio apartment was built. It hasn't been occupied in decades, but it was built for a speakeasy during Prohibition.
Really?
So I thought, man, should I do it? But
mind you, you're live. He never would have done it and did not do that. So.
My landlord just wouldn't go for it, so he didn't want to lease it out anyway. So
did you have people from like the Liquor Control Board or L&I that were here coming by to check on you, like knocking on the door?
So the Liquor Control Board is the enforcement arm for the governor's orders for any licensed establishment, liquor licensed establishment. Okay. So we saw them a lot. They had to follow up on every complaint. And
what do you mean by complaint?
People would say, "Hey, there's people drinking in the bar."
People would drive by and say, like whistle blow and say, "Hey, we saw people in there."
Yeah, exactly. You're right the whole time.
Right. So by doing it right, you said when we sat down that it's been a struggle.
It has been. We had a little bit of a savings, but that quickly disappeared because we have a lot of bills.
Sure.
I didn't realize how much I relied on my income here to pay my own bills. So I ended up selling my dream car. I had a '71 Chevelle SS convertible. I put it up for sale and it sold within a couple of days. And this guy says, "Hey, I want to come and buy your car." He comes and looks at it. He goes, "Okay, I'll buy it." I go, "Don't you want to drive it?" "Okay." So we drove it down the road and I show him the vacuum, the cowl induction, everything works on it. He goes, "Okay, I'll buy it." And he had me a grocery bag. I go, "What's this?" I had canned out $33,500 at $20 bills. I may have sold it to a drug dealer. I don't know.
Hey, that's cold-hearted American currency. It spins, all right? It's just not question the source too much.
It all deposits in the bank the same, so.
Yeah. Unless he handed you a grocery bag with $33,000 in it? You have his number? Man, I got some stuff I got some shoes and a basket full of unused t-shirts. Maybe you'll give me a bag of cash. There you go. Wow. So So it's been a struggle. How about your employees? How has that affected your staff?
Unemployment was attractive. They gave them an extra $300 a week. I can't remember what it was.
Some people in the hospitality industry were doing pretty good, actually, not having to work, and then they were getting like the additional money on top of, you know, they have to work 3, which is kind of why you open a business, so that you can automate some.
So it is what it is. When we have indoor seating again, we'll probably make enough to make payroll. But right now, it's the struggle. So
you said make enough to make payroll. Have you had to deal with one of those PPPs yet?
I did the first round of PPP. It's so easy. I just said, hey, I need this much money. They put $18,000 in my bank, and now I'm trying to ask for forgiveness. And there's 16 million pages of I don't know how to. I might have to end up paying it back because I can't figure this paperwork out.
And what he's talking about, guys, is probably be slinging drinks. I mean, it's a big day. We got the Seahawks playing right now. You'd have a packed bar.
Yeah, we would. We have 9 screens in this bar, and every one of them would be on the Seahawks game.
Right.
And we'd have every seat full in here.
Right. And I'm going to go ahead and lean in the direction that the reason we're struggling in this game is because we don't have all people in here watching the game. Just saying. You love the Hawks. Think about what we're talking about. So, what's going to change? What's going to have to change? I mean,
Well, in a perfect world, you know, everything's a risk. In a perfect world, we could just have everybody sign a waiver. Hey, you might get the COVID if you come and drink, but come on and socialize. And just let people sign off. You know, that it's,
basically give people the right to make the choice.
Yeah,
for themselves.
It'd be sure nice if they can do that.
Do you feel that a lot of where do you feel the mandates have come from? Do you think it's come from actually a place of safety, or?
Yeah, I think it's, for lack of a better term, obsessive parenting. You know,
obsessive parenting, I would say.
You know, people protect their children and don't.
It was tough for me up. She still does that to me. She shoved me in front of a moving car last week.
I can see it though.
It's messed up, man. But no, that seems to be a running theme, is that people keep saying, and I was mentioning this earlier, that they want the right to choose. If it's your right, you know, you take it. Someone gave me grief because as I was coming over from the park, they're like, "Why are you going to wear your seatbelt in your car?" I was like, "Yeah, why?" I was like, "This is my choice. You know, I choose to. Maybe it's routine, habit, force. I don't know." But and someone made a comment like, "Well, it's because it's the law." And I was like, "Okay, maybe, yeah." But I don't always wear a seatbelt. Sometimes I do, but it should be my choice. But you know, they'll still cite you if you're not wearing a seatbelt, which is interesting. And they were trying to run a comparison. I don't know if there is one. I don't have time to really dig into this one, guys. So I don't know if there's a real comparison, seatbelts and face masks. But when they're talking about a business that's affected, I mean, you found creative ways to make this work by operating within the guidelines that they placed for you.
Correct. Yeah, the latest guideline was no more indoor seating, and you can have outdoor service, but two walls maximum. So there's basically a breezeway.
Right.
And that's why there's that large carport that kind of looks like a Quonset.
Right. Which is where we came in from, which is clever. I mean, it's smart. Plus, again, it's a lot of open air. You know, people are able to take comfort in the fact you're not in an incubated environment where someone's going to come in and affect the world that you're sitting in. But still, do you feel like that's going to be able to sustain? I mean, as far as what you need to keep the roof over your head?
It's barely sustainable because if the governor doesn't bankrupt me, the cost of propane and all those heaters back there.
Yeah, so you got propane tanks floating around, yeah. And it's cold, guys. It is free. It's 32 degrees earlier when we were sitting at the park there. So, yeah, you got to keep everyone warm. And I know I saw, like, the down the way here, there's a couple bars on the way into town that have been around for a while, but there's not a soul there. You know, the doors were closed. And again, I was saying on the way in, on McKenna, right before you cross the bridge, you know, age-old establishment there.
Yeah, Walt's Tavern.
Yeah, Walt's there's no one there. Normally you'd see, you know, plenty of people outside, especially on a game day. You know, you're going to see a lot of people out of local establishments.
That parking lot would be packed.
It would be packed, yeah. And you're not seeing it. And one of the points that I was making, and I'll say it again, is the Walmart was packed. There's plenty of people there. And it's scary to think that, like, let me ask you, okay, going back a little bit, not to jump down that road. So you've owned this bar now for how many years?
Almost 11 years.
Almost 11 years. Why this bar? What made you want to own a bar?
Oh, I didn't. I got fired from my real job before I bought the bar.
I can't stop yourself. What are you sipping on here? Gotta keep the lifeblood of America.
Right.
So, steep learning curve, needless to say. 11 years trying to immerse yourself in a new business. You're getting your battle tax right now. Do you feel like this is something that is going to change the way people like yourself that see an opportunity and take advantage of it how's that going to change for people moving forward? You think it's going to, some people are going to, or maybe this will scare people away from taking that opportunity to be an independent business owner?
Well, it's going to be, now that I'm classified as a non-essential business, it might even be harder for me to get loans in the future if I rely on this as income. I don't know what the ramifications are, but I'm gonna hang on to it for a little while. I had plans about a year ago to sell this in about 3 or 4 years.
Okay.
But that's changed because I don't have to save these.
Right. Yeah, that's or the car right now to drive off in the sunset. How do you feel about being told that you're not essential, or your employees being told that they're not essential?
Yeah, that's a kick in the pants, I tell you. You never would in 100 years would have thought somebody could tell you that you're non-essential and that you have to go bankrupt and sorry for your luck.
Yeah. What do you think makes someone essential?
Well,
in the eyes of
in the eyes of Uncle Sam, probably food producers, and that's about it. Yeah.
You've got medical workers, people that are civil servants, things like that. But someone was saying at one of the stories that I was at Farm Boys, he was saying, well, I'm pretty sure my children would feel that I'm pretty essential when it comes to putting a roof over their head, food in their stomachs, and clothes on their back. That makes me pretty essential. And the way that I pay for the essential needs of my children is by operating my business, which I can't do anymore. So now you've taken away my essential responsibilities as a father and provider because I haven't been deemed by the system as being essential, which is scary to me. It scares me to think that there's an overarching vantage point that gets to deem who and what. And I'm trying to figure it out for myself. What would stipulate? Because before they changed the different, and it's changed a little, right? Because at one point they had different levels of how you could operate, right? But you had to wear a mask when you were standing up, and when you weren't at the table. Did you have much? How did that affect you in that period?
It affected us a lot because I told my employees to be pretty strict with the rules. This is my livelihood, and I don't want to get fined. I can't afford to pay a fine. And a lot of people that did come in without masks, were told by the bartenders either mask up or leave. They would just go to another bar. Another one comes in. And so that that kind of hurt. When other establishments are very much more relaxed.
Right. The season's going to come in. How it's going to work into whatever morphed out strand of COVID, whatever it is, moving forward. But it's going to be an ongoing thing. It's not just going to go away. And do you feel that once that changes, business operation is going to change? Do you think it'll ever get back to normal? How it was when you first opened?
I think we will. And once we're allowed fully open, 100% occupancy, I think it'll happen within the next year.
Okay. Do you think it's going to be affected much by change in POTUS?
I don't. I can't see a different Surgeon General or whoever's in charge in his cabinet to make any. There's all sides of the political spectrum, and there's some extreme far right that want to relax every rule in the book, which would be more libertarian, I guess. But I think that's what they want to see. But the representatives, including Will Cox, I think do a pretty good job for being a minority. They do pretty good.
If there was something you could ask, would you be asking to help make your business run, to help make this more feasible to stay in full operation?
Well, there's some advocacy groups out there. I just re-upped my membership with NFIB, and they do a lot of fighting. They're a really good group. They use our money to campaign for better laws, less restrictions and all kinds of stuff. Mostly they hit the unemployment side and the L&I side on taxes. And yeah, my unemployment taxes are going up 588%. I got the letter a couple weeks ago.
586.
Yep.
And you mentioned L&I. I know there was a rally that we were, a protest over at Joe Sapp's house. The director of L&I over there. The 588%.
Yeah, I have to pay 1.4% of employee wages to unemployment starting the first of this year, as opposed to 0.25% I was for the last 10 years.
Now people are also getting these stimulus checks. So do you feel that the taxes that are being leveraged against your business are going to be going to help subsidize those stimulus checks that are going out?
For all the money that went to Africa, they sent something like $600 billion to scammers, and so they got to replenish those funds.
And you feel it's coming out of your pocket?
It is.
Do you feel that the major businesses are getting the same taxes?
Yeah, I think everybody's getting hit hard. Some of them as low as 300% increase.
As low as 300% increase. That's a crazy thing to hear someone say. As low as 588% increase.
And luckily, I don't have to pay unemployment taxes on myself, so I'll probably be working more hours.
Wow. Which means that you probably have an employee that's not going to be able to work as much.
That's correct.
So these, I mean, you're paying these unemployment taxes, and it sounds like it's going to put people in a situation where they're going to have to go on unemployment. And so those taxes are actually forcing a situation for them. It's about catch-22. It is. You know? Man, it's tough. Have you had employees that have had to leave their employment here entirely?
I have some looking for other work to subsidize it, because I got 3 girls just working one shift right now.
Wow. At full staff, how many people would you normally have on payroll?
Usually about 6 or 7.
Okay. Now you said you're working 7 days a week, all day basically, so you're having to make up for the inability to actually provide full shifts for all the. All of this, as I'm processing here, a radical effect. Adoption agencies, which totally unrelated to a small business, but the effects therein. And student athletes, that's another one. But it comes right down to here. I think this is like kind of like the forefront of a lot of the push, and not just on a political side, but on like the real, that American, drive to be a small business owner and take stock and be an independent and driving that American dream. And do you feel that like your view of America, like your America, has changed in the last year?
As of America, no. But I've seen a lot of radical protests with the rioting and looting, and you see cities burning to the ground and cars burning. That's really sad to see. It is. It's been a big division. But the next 4 years, I think it's going to be another interesting ride. I know my pocketbook's going to be affected, because if Biden makes good on his promises, a lot of our taxes are going to go up. Especially corporate taxes, which comes down to us when we buy their product. It's going to cost money. The only good benefit to that is it'll crash the economy, and housing will be affordable.
I will. It's a sad benefit, right? That's a sad benefit. Let me ask you, how long do you think it's going to be until you're in a position where you can buy that car back?
Probably another 2 or 3 years.
But you were saying it's kind of like your exit strategy, right? Yeah. And by that, of course, I mean like when you're in a position where you've got more than just what you need to get by, but you're able to actually say, hey, I'm doing good. I'm in the black. I've got that vacation time plan. I've got that timeshare I'm going to buy, whatever it might be. Like you can forward plan. People have stopped trying to swim. They're just trying not to drown, and it scares me, because it's a lot of hope that people are losing in things. And it's good to hear that you still have that, though. That you still got forward motion. You've got you're projecting. You've got creative. You didn't let it bury you. You know, you've got propane tanks, and you know, it looks like a camping store at this point.
Right.
You got enough to survive a you know, a nuclear blast. But I know that we're all hoping that like you'll be able to find a way to keep pushing in the right direction. And I really appreciate you taking the time to stand and talk with me, man.
Absolutely.
And thanks for hosting the game as well. I think I'm actually going to order some food and sit out here and have a burger. What do you recommend?
Our burgers are top notch.
That's what I'm doing, man. So I'm starving, and I definitely want to see the Hawks win this game. So guys, thanks for tuning in with us. Wood on the out here. Tell them again. If you want to invite them out, anything you have coming up, any big parties, small social gatherings.
7 days a week. White Horse Tavern, downtown Yelm.
There it is. So guys, thanks so much for tuning in today. Seen a lot, talked a lot, had a lot of opportunities to really get some interesting viewpoints. Again, I encourage everyone to ask questions, stay curious, not judgmental, and do your best to try to do the research on your own. And if you don't like it, you know, you can always look somewhere else. So thanks everyone. I'll see you later. Then I have to do this exit here and hit this, boom, and we're gonna go ahead and boom.